Okay, we are live. How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. It is great to see all of you here. There is Happy May the 4th. Happy May the 4th to Happy Revenge of the 5th from where I am. I'm speaking to you from the future. And you guys are in the land of the free, the home of the whatever.
Brave.
And yeah,
Home of the brave.
okay, you say so. No, kidding. Of course you are.
That's the song. That's the song. The
I
land
know.
of the free and the home of the brave.
Is that the national anthem, or have I got that mixed up with something else? Anyway, but yeah, no, great to see. Lots to celebrate. The 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith on Star Wars Day. Wouldn't have it any other way, and it's like poetry. It rhymes, I guess.
The anniversary of peak cinema.
Anniversary of peak cinema. Yeah, I'm so glad we all got. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go see it. But then a friend of mine's like, "Hey, I got an extra ticket. You want to go?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go." Are you kidding?
Our theater was nearly completely full. It was like maybe 3 or 4 seats, like straggler empty seats, like it sprinkled. But it was almost completely full.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty awesome. And we weren't even like the night showings. We were right before like all the people were gonna start coming in, because that's when it starts getting busier, is in the night, because everybody wants to like come over there. They have dinner at the movie theaters as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the showings after that, and it was just like every other showing after that was sold out for Revenge of the Sith. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's just I couldn't honestly, like, you and me and Cool Man, we were like taking guesses. Like, okay, Phantom Menace blew everyone away and did like $20 million worldwide for a re-release. So the same exact, not the 3D release, which also made bank.
Oh yeah, I will admit
release.
my prediction was a low ball, and I was lowballing it because I wasn't sure. Because I was like, because I was trying to like give it like more obviously. Like I was like, I'll go 10 over what the Phantom Menace did. I'm like, that feels like a safe bet, but I still was going over what all the analysts were predicting, because they were all predicting like 20 to 25 at first. And so I was like, okay, I'm like, I'll go say like 29. I'll go a little higher than them. I'll add a little bit more, because I feel like they're lowballing it too much.
And then, no, I thought they were way lowballing it. But then I gave it, I think Cool Man said at least 30. I said 35.
He said 30. You said 35, yeah.
Yeah, I was like 35, I think. I thought it might break 35.
I love that we were all proven wrong. What a great day to be proven
I was technically right, because I said at least 30.
Okay, okay, Mr. Semantics.
Oh god. But yeah, it was just like, couldn't believe it. Like, first day, it was like 11 million, and I was like, holy
just domestic,
shit.
and that wasn't even international.
Just domestic, yeah. And then it crossed 30 million, I think, on its second or third day, and was out for almost a week. And I was like, holy fuck. And then, I mean, Germany, holy shit, Germany loves Revenge of the Sith. Germany did like, I think, 6 million on its own.
And the cool thing is they actually had it going a little bit longer past the weekend. Like, at least in my area. So like there were still a couple people going in and getting some tickets and watching it like during the weekday. And I think it only lasted like maybe like before the weekend. It's like, so maybe like 5 days. But still, it's like, that's pretty awesome.
It is. No, yeah. I think they definitely wrapped it up early in Australia. I think they wrapped it up on the Monday, and they started it on a public holiday, one of our most cherished public holidays, actually, the 25th of April. So I saw it on the 26th of April. So I didn't go. So my theater, and I was surprised, they had it in like the biggest screening theater. I was like, don't you want to put a new release in this theater? And no, they booked it for
No, they knew. Peak Cinema's got to be in there.
Well, I was like, all right, fine. It wasn't like standing room only, but it was a really good turnout too. I'd say it was about 70% full. And I was like, okay, well, if this was in another theater, it would have been like sold out proper. But I was like, wow, okay, cool. On its second day, it's a re-release. I didn't go to the Phantom Menace re-release, which I'm kicking myself for, because Phantom Menace is my favorite.
Cool Man and I did.
And it's also, well, fuck you.
Hey, but we were contributing to Peak.
I
Where's
know.
your dedication? Revenge of the Prequels.
Hey, it's my favorite fucking Star Wars film. I just wanted
Exactly.
to, but it's also the one
Dishonor.
I haven't seen it. I know.
Dishonor on your whole family. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
I know. Well, I wanted to go see it at cinemas. I've always wanted to see Phantom Menace at cinemas. I just didn't get around to it. It's my bad. But yeah, no. And I told my friends like, "Yo, Revenge of the Sith cracked 50 million." He's like, "You fucking serious?" I was like, "Yeah." Yes, and
Awesome. Which goes to show movie theaters need to just all these studios just need to re-release more movies and do it more often, because every time they do a lot of these like big events for re-releases, they tend to do pretty well.
Yeah, you bet your ass they're gonna fucking do it all the time now. I'll bet. Star Wars again being the trailblazer for new, innovative ways of making money, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, Cool Man and I, we went and saw a re-release a while back of Iron Man, like the first Iron Man, and that was during the COVID years, and there was actually a really good turnout during the COVID years.
Yeah. I mean,
like it was like
yeah.
because you know they had to like every other row, so they had these little mandates like that they had to do, but it was like full even based on that type of like that type of mandate. And then not a while back we went and saw Transformers 1 again. They did a re-release and it was actually pretty good considering it was very limited screenings for a re-release for that. And then not long after that, Princess Mononoke had a 4K re-release as well, and that theater was full.
Oh yeah, they were doing a bunch of Ghibli movies.
Okay.
And, yeah, Princess Mononoke was full. Like, and they had the dub and the original sub.
And the sub.
And it was like
all showings were sold out for a 3-day weekend. Every single one. And it was so funny though. The guy who plays Killmonger was like throwing a hissy fit on Twitter because he like realized 2 weeks later there was. I guess he liked Mononoke. He was just like, "What do you mean there was a re-release in IMAX and I didn't get to see it?"
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan is an actual full-blown weeb. That's
all right.
He's a total fun.
Okay. All right. Oh, respect, I guess. Anyway, guys, look, I just want to get to the chat. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. It's all their fault. It's all their fault, I swear. Okay, so start at the top. Hell yeah is right. I was telling my buddy there. Find Disney's lack of confidence disturbing. I mean, hey, they were confident enough to re-release Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary. I'll give them points for that. They should have kept it out for a full month. I don't know why they did.
Well, they've been doing that though. They did re-releases for all the other anniversaries.
Yeah, they had it. An Empire release,
Phantom Menace, and the original trilogy one. So I imagine in 2027 they'll do Attack of the Clones as well.
Well, here's the thing, and I've spoken about this. Attack of the Clones' re-release lines up perfectly with A New Hope's 50th anniversary, so they're probably going to put higher emphasis on A New Hope. But I reckon they'll
probably do them in different months because it just makes the most sense to do that.
True. Yeah, they'll probably have Attack of the Clones later in the year, I think. But they'll want to like keep A New Hope for like the actual anniversary, I think. I mean, I think it's only fair because as much as I love Attack of the Clones, New Hope is the one that started it all, and it's the bigger milestone. So yeah, I think that makes sense. I wouldn't fault.
Well, it's just they missed the other Attack of the Clones anniversary, but it was like that was back in 2022.
Yeah. That was I think COVID was still a thing then too.
Yeah,
but,
so
they were just going
probably.
I think honestly, I don't think they were going to do Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary until Phantom Menace did so well for its 25th. And like, oh, yes, people really like these 20th anniversary screenings. Let's do more of them. I knew as soon as they
which is why I think for the 25th for Attack of the Clones, especially after Revenge of the Sith, I think they are going to do Attack of the Clones again because they're finally going to wake up after being so stupid, being like, wait, you mean people like the prequels? No, duh. That's why you guys are trying to poach the prequels now for all your Disney content.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to shut Darth Maul and everything now.
Don't get me wrong. Like I knew what they were going to do Attack of the Clones 25th anniversary. It's just I was like, I don't know how they're going to handle it given the fact that there's a bigger anniversary that year. Anyway, back to the chat. Digital Apple, RLM raging. The prequels are still earning money at the box office. I imagine they would be. I pay such little attention to those fuckwits. But I imagine they're low-key seething inside. They had a big dummy spit when the Phantom Menace did really well. So, it's just going to make things worse for them. How does it feel stuck lazy? I don't imagine it feels good. RLM is an aging relic of boom. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. Mocking points. Not able to watch the stream, but glad to see it. Thanks, man. Yeah. Appreciate the super chat. You can watch it back later on. I'll definitely keep this up for a bit. Well, that go then. Yeah. Revenge of the Sith, man. Revenge of the Sith. I went and saw it in 4DX. Crazy experience. Ooh, that would have been good. My friend says, who used to work at the cinema, the same one I went to the Revenge of the Sith screening with. He doesn't work at the cinema anymore, but he was like, dude, don't go to 4DX. I was like, why? It's like, because those seats are so freaking dirty from people like spilling drinks and shit all day from the, to have the seats move and shit. And I was like, oh, really? And it's like, yeah, they don't even clean them properly. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. Oblivion remastered and Revenge of the Sith re-release, just like the mid-2000s all over again. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. I had no idea they shadow dropped the Oblivion remastered, but my same friend who I went to the screening with, he was afterwards, that's all he talked about. And I was like, oh, fuck. I wish I could. I haven't been doing any.
Yeah, and it's 2005 all over again. Welcome back.
Yeah, the Pope died, Oblivion came out, and Revenge of the Sith came out. Like, welcome back, 2005.
And what was it? Disturbed released a new hit song. Like they were really big in the 2000s.
Close enough. Welcome back, 2005.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, last year Linkin Park came back, so welcome back.
Yeah, that's actually what I saw. Yeah. It was like Linkin Park and I saw a comment. Linkin Park and Disturbed dropping a new classic. It's the mid 2000s all over again. I was like, I guess it is. I really guess that. Hey, it's the best fucking era. Suck it if you disagree.
2000s were great,
the 2000s were fantastic. The golden era. I call from 99 or like 90, like late 90s. I say 99 till 2005 was the golden era, I think. And just look at how much you got.
The 90s and the early 2000s.
Lord of the Rings. Fucking Star Wars, Harry Potter,
Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Pirates
Spider-Man,
of the Caribbean,
Spider-Man, Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes. Oh god, that's take me back. Take me back. A lot of good like epics dropped too.
Dragon Ball.
Troy dropped. Dragon Ball. Yeah. In the West, absolutely. Whole point. I think that was like the anime surge in the West. That was the anime surge in the West, not just Dragon Ball.
Sailor Moon, Digimon.
Yeah, no, take me back. Just went to see it in theaters. Can finally say the last Star Wars film I've seen wasn't Solo. Had a great time. You love to see it.
Oh.
You love to see it. People seething that online Star Wars prequel was making money. Me. Good. Let the hate flow through. Yeah.
It is funny to see certain like Gen Xers and Boomers being really angry. And what's even greater is when they tweet about like how like, oh, this is just revisionism. It's so nice to see so many prequel fans just reply to them and push back. Like it's like everybody grew up. That's like, and they're like, no, we're not going to take this anymore because you know what? I think they realized. This isn't actually a popular opinion, and we've like just sat around and been the quiet majority for so long. We're not going to be quiet anymore.
Yeah, well said. I agree. And yeah, even before the bloody, even before this happened, like it was happening, and it was like people were like, why are you fuckers so uptight about these movies? Like, what's you know what I mean? Like, just normal people in the real world. I'm like, do you share it? And I'm like, no, I don't get it either. It's like, oh, exactly.
Well, and it's so weird with the way that they have such particular hatred for the prequels. And I'm like, there are bad movies out there that made a lot of money. There are bad movies out there that people will defend.
Twilight,
and you know what?
50 Shades of Grey. Like, are we really going to say the prequels are worse than those?
Well, yeah, and it's like yeah, there's a lot of those kinds of movies that I really can't stand, but like. The particular hatred that these people have for the prequels goes way beyond just I don't like these movies. Like they treat it as like a personal slight, and like for a lot of these people, they react more to the prequels than they do to like The Last Jedi. And it's like
what's angry is that they're angry that people like it.
Well, I think that it's also because, they want to pretend like The Last Jedi was a trade-off, because otherwise they just look like idiots. It's like, oh, what have we done? No. The Disney films are better than the prequels. We wanted George out for a reason. This is better Star Wars, guys. Please agree with us. And everyone's just like, get fucked.
No.
Get fucked.
No.
So,
Absolutely not.
No, the future is now, old man.
We got Legend Doc. I never pronounced that right. I'm excited for more now. Thank you. It's funny. I recently saw Rick Worley's stream about the George Lucas sequel trilogy. It took me ages to watch that one. I'm actually only halfway through it. I finally got around to that one. And Rick released a really good video about the true sequel trilogy that was meant to come out, and how it wasn't actually 12 films, and how it was 9, but it was 9 like the last 3 were always like an afterthought. Like, he probably wasn't going to do them, but if he did, it went from initial outline to just kind of like, nah, I'll probably get around to them maybe, but they're not essential to the story, essentially, is basically what I got from.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like, that's something that's interesting, is that George Lucas has had like a dozen different versions of potential sequels that he's changed his mind on over the years, or had different ideas of, oh, I could go in this direction, And I know that's one of the things that he did with Disney, is he had all these story treatments, because it wasn't even just one story. He had all these different ideas,
and they said, we're going to use none of them.
Yeah, we're going to use none of them.
Yeah,
we'll poach a couple of basic ideas and then throw the actual stories out. And I'm he's sitting here giving you like dozens of story concepts, and you're like, thanks, George.
Like, you guys didn't even like plan an outline of anything. George gave you a basic outline that you could have modified any way you wanted, but at least you would have had an outline for all 3 movies, and there would be at least some beginning, middle, end idea. But it was clear they didn't want that. They just wanted to react.
They wanted to get those movies out as soon as possible, which is funny, because Rogue One was based off of a script that was around during the Lucas years. There was really? Like the idea of those like the rebels who stole the Death Star. It existed around there, and I'm like, it always kind of got tossed around, and hey, we could do this, but then it just kind of never materialized. And then when Disney was dusting, it's one of the few times where they actually were like, hey, what if we take one of these scripts that already exist? Like,
I mean, it was more of an outline, but still.
I think it was more like a story treatment than anything. But I'm like, okay, they took it and then they actually made a movie out of that. I'm like, yeah, why didn't you do that? Rogue One is still, even by people who hate like all the Disney era, they'll at least go, well, Rogue One is the least worst movie. Like, it's a decent movie, and it's the only one. It is the only one of the Disney movies that feels like it actually has any love for Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I enjoy Rogue One. Sorry, I think I lost my place. I'll keep going with the chat until I remember what I was going to say. I'm going to say this is a good channel. That's an understatement. Thank you both. Give it 21. What's your ranking of the Star Wars movies by Lucas? Before I give my ranking, do you guys want to take a stab at this, or you want to steer clear?
I can't really rank them, because to me it's like Lord of the Rings. I have to watch them all together. To me, it's an ongoing story. The second I watch The Phantom Menace, I have to start watching Attack of the Clones, and then I have to watch Revenge of the Sith, then I have to watch New Hope, and then I have to watch Empire Strikes Back, then I have to watch Return of the Jedi, and then once I watch Return of the Jedi, I'm like, all right, let's do this all over again.
All right, fine. I'll give my ranking. If I rank,
but I do love Return of the Jedi the most.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, cool, man. Do you have like a most favorite at the very least you could give?
Attack of the Clones is my second most favorite.
Oh.
That's the problem. Is like,
you know what? I'll say this quickly. Movies. I'll interrupt this quickly. Attack of the Clones is my second most favorite, and all for you people who see that there and say Anakin Padme is a terrible romance. That's the reason it's my second most favorite movie. I like Anakin and Padme as a couple. You don't understand women. George does.
Yeah, exactly. And my fiance also thought Attack of the Clones was it was her favorite of the. I haven't shown her the originals yet. We're watching it in order, but I showed her Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and she loved Attack of the Clones the most. So that too, and she loved it for the romance, just like you did. So there you go. Yeah, and I'm actually. She always says that I'm an extremely cheesy person when it comes to like being romantic. So she's like, and she likes that. So there you go.
You're literally going. It's only because I'm so in love with you, and she's like, so love has blinded you.
Oh no, nothing like that. But like for example, like I don't know. No, I'm not
Across the Stars gonna play at your wedding?
No, maybe.
Oh, you better.
Well, look, like no. I was gonna say what
I'm gonna show up at your wedding with the boombox just playing Across the Stars.
No. Okay.
The emu guards are gonna throw you out, cool man. Don't tempt fate.
No, look, like for example, when me and her like had our first kiss, it was, and if you must know, it was at the Sydney Opera House by the moonlight, view of the entire city. It was very nice.
Oh, romantic.
I said something very cheesy that kind of sealed the deal, and and yeah, that's she's like, why are you so cheesy? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just who I am. And but most importantly, I was just myself, and I think that's what she also really liked. So yeah, and then we've been together ever since. So yeah, and so yeah, cheesiness does work, believe it or not. Just don't, I don't know. And if you think that Lucas doesn't understand romance, yeah, I promise you he does.
Guy's been married more than once. He understands romance.
Yes, absolutely. Now that being said, my ranking. I always put Return of the Jedi last, not because I dislike it. I love Return of the Jedi. I do think Return of the Jedi has the best ending, like of any Star Wars film. Like I love the ending to Return of the Jedi. I think it's the best ending. Then the next one's tricky. I always get mixed up with Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Empire Strikes Back, because I think Empire
really just depends, because each movie, because it is an ongoing story, but they're all trying to achieve something differently in each chapter of this saga.
Exactly. Look, I think Empire has the best story of those three. I think Attack of the Clones has the most interesting like plot, and Phantom Menace I think has the best like world building, and
I love the world building. And structure. A New Hope is a nice classic adventure. It feels like I'm watching like an old movie from like the 30s and the 40s. It feels like a serial adventure, which is what George Lucas loves, and it's quite wonderful.
Yeah. I actually used to have A New Hope much lower, actually, but after reading Rinsley's book on the making of Star Wars, I have to have A New Hope as number 2, as like my second favorite. Like the fact that Lucas he had basically butt-fuck nothing to work with, and he made an unbelievable movie out of that, and it's a miracle that fucking movie exists. And even though like it's been remastered since then, the theatrical cut was mind-blowing for the time, and the fact that it held together.
Oh yeah, he did all that in 1977, and his imagination is so incredible. But like even back then, before the entire universe was realized, like he had a very, it's hard to put into words, but he knew exactly what he wanted this universe, this world he's created, to be. Like the idea that they like created all these different creatures, or like when he created C-3PO and R2-D2, and they showed it off to George Lucas, and then he's like, all right, now let's bang them up and get them all dirty. And then they're like, what? And he's just like, I want them to feel like this is a lived in world, and they live in this world. Yeah. And he would like dirty certain parts of the armor, and then they would like he just like, he has such a very particular imagination, and he talks about it all the time, how he just like imagines it, and it's hard for the actors to envision what he's envisioning, but he is such a creative guy.
Yeah, and he wrote A New Hope around the budget. Like he didn't say he had so much more he wanted to accomplish, but he had to write that script in a way.
Oh,
that
his
was like,
imagination
okay,
was bigger than 1977. I would say George is ahead of his time.
Oh, he's decades ahead of his
Yeah,
time.
like
the reason we can even do this podcast with the technology that we have right now, I think Sam Witwer said it very well. The reason we can even do this is because of George Lucas. Because of how far he was willing to innovate and push technology and fund those companies and everything. You know what I mean? So, like, there you go. And A New Hope is just, it's incredible. It's already incredible, but if you know how it was made and what went into it, unbelievable movie. Only beaten by Revenge of the Sith, which I consider to be like best story, best plot, best spectacle, best cinematography. Just no, it's incredible. It's
I would have
incredible.
to put the word with Star Wars in general, at least George Lucas's Star Wars, not Disney, is George Lucas is a lover of storytelling. Even though he had like this like whenever he came out of film school and he kind of like pokes fun at himself how he was in film school, how cinema should be one way and like written media should be something else. But you can tell George Lucas loves storytelling in general. Star Wars is like one man's love of the entire craft of so many different mediums and so many different stories through his lens and his imagination reimagined. There's so much references to other different mythologies and stories, comics, just everything rolled into one with his spin on it and his own unique ideas. And it's just, there's a passion and a love for old and innovation. Like he loves the old, but he loves the new, and it's all crammed into like one series. And it's just, there's nothing like Star Wars.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's standing the test of time. Anyway, thanks for the comment, buddy. Angel,
I'll never forget you, buddy.
Yeah.
I love that meme.
NOMZ, thanks for defending anime and Padme's love story and pointing out that it's meant to be awkward and it's supposed to be like Shakespearean dialogue. My standpoint on the whole Shakespearean aspect of that, I mean, maybe it takes some inspiration from Shakespeare, but like I very much.
Well, I mean, it does. Anakin and Padme are literally star-crossed lovers, which is most of Shakespeare's stories.
That's true, but the dialogue itself isn't really. I used to think it was Shakespearean, but after having like done more research, it's not exactly Shakespearean. It's more so just the way dialogue used to be in the 30s and 40s. It's just I've kind of changed my standpoint on that a little bit.
But it's a little bit of both, and there's nothing wrong with it in taking inspiration from some Shakespeare stuff, but also through older movies and how the movies in the golden age of cinema were acted. It's a little bit of both, and that's why it's its own flavor. It's not 100% one-to-one of one or the other.
Well, and with how, I mean, Lucas has even said this himself. He likes fancy, flowery dialogue, and you even go back and you look at the original trilogy and how a lot of those characters talk, and it's
like Obi-Wan does not talk like Han Solo. Like put those two together, and any scene when they are popping like off each other, they do not talk like each other.
And Lucas has always had that, and he said this, he likes that fancy dialogue, and I think that the Shakespearean like vibe that people get from Anakin and Padme is a natural result of him really focusing on their cheesy dialogue. And if you go back, and I actually did theater in high school, I did several Shakespearean plays back in the day, and there's a lot of odd phrasings and fanciful terms, and I think it's just because Lucas, because I don't know if he's ever specifically said he was aiming for that vibe, because there's a lot of these over the top romances in like Shakespearean plays, but like I think it's just because Lucas is a lover of media and literature, and it's not just that he goes back and he looks at like the 30s. It's clear like a lot of acting in general, which in terms of like sorry, just let me finish this point real quick.
That's fine.
It's a lot of what we like in a lot of modern acting has its roots in like stuff that happened in the last like 500 years with theatrical productions becoming more significant, especially with Shakespeare. So it's just like he's just already absorbing a lot of these different stuff from hundreds of years of literature, that when he writes it, it kind of echoes a lot of the things that we've already experienced with Shakespeare or even other stuff like Tolkien and how Tolkien wrote, because Tolkien's very flowery with a lot of his the way he writes.
He is. You're right. Absolutely. I mean, I did mention Lord of the Rings and how the dialogue is in that series in the first part of
It's
the George Lucas series.
Because of Tolkien, like writes also like he's very detailed too. He loves describing everything, every random little detail, because he's a very imaginative person himself. But it's just so funny because if he considers his friend C.S. Lewis to be the one who takes too long to explain something, to the point where Treebeard is based off of C.S. Lewis, and it's just like, Tolkien, have you looked at it mirror? Yeah. Which I'm sure C.S. Lewis has teased him about. But that's what it's just fun reading up on all these people. Like you're never like I would consider Lucas an imaginative person, just like Tolkien. And funnily enough, Lucas is a big fan of Lord of the Rings. He wanted to make Lord of the Rings. He couldn't back in the day. And that's why we got Willow.
I don't know how much truth there is to that.
No, there is truth to that. Like Lucas loved Lord of the Rings.
But I have no doubt that he loved Lord of the Rings, but I've heard mixed things about the whole him wanting to like make Willow and make Lord of the Rings. And
I think he could have made a good Lord of the Rings adaptation if he was given the chance.
Well, I don't think he would have made it. I think he would have gotten someone else to make it. He would have like overseen the project probably, and probably would have gotten like Steven Spielberg to make it or something.
They would have done good. They're such a good team together, those two. Yeah. Cool Man and I have been rewatching a couple of the Indiana Jones movies. And I'm just like, man, they just don't make them like they used to.
I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark recently. The first time I ever watched it. I liked it a lot. I just, the only thing I didn't like was the ending. I thought the ending was a little flat. That's me. Like, I don't
disagree, but whatever. I just think those two are a dream team, and I love how like Indiana Jones is another good example. You can tell they love the golden age of cinema, and it just shines through. And there's nothing quite like that feeling that they capture. And it's so funny because I get nostalgic watching it, despite the fact that I wasn't from that era. Like especially when these movies take place. Yeah. But it's just and I recently rewatched The Mummy, and it's kind of got a similar vibe. Like I love stories about adventures of that time period. I love Atlantis, the Lost Empire, like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, like any story that takes place in adventure in that era of the world. It's, I don't know, I just enjoy it a lot. It's really great.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, regarding Tolkien, though, I'll get back to him in a second. I just want to read this comment. The reason I don't cringe at Anakin and Padme's romance is because I grew up with romance movies from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. So I know George Lucas was doing what he was doing with romance of the prequels. That's good on you, mate. Like, it's I have very little experience with old cinema. So, but I didn't, here's the thing, I didn't have any issues with it either. I just, because I knew, I'd watched Phantom Menace, I watched Attack of the Clones, I watched the others, and I was like, this is just how Star Wars dialogue is. It's not trying to be anything else.
Yeah. And
but
also, that what?
Yeah, no, what are you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, no, and that's funny is because I know that so many people who complain about the dialogue of the prequels. When I was growing up, like, yeah, it sounded all like kind of fancy and stuff, but like when I was growing up watching 3, 4, and or 4, 5, and 6, like I don't know, I thought that Star Wars was always about the more odd, fanciful ways of talking and like this ethereal.
Like nobody talks like Kenobi or Palpatine. Palpatine talks in such an interesting way.
Yeah,
like literally, try to think of a single person on planet Earth that talks like Palpatine. The way he enunciates very specific words at random intervals, like nobody talks like Palpatine.
Yeah, and I think I remember recently seeing a thing about like the explanation specifically for why Yoda talks backwards. It was like it was trying to, because Lucas likes to give like a lot of aliens like accents or really goofy like ways of talking to really set them apart. It was like he's trying to give like Yoda that great wise sage stuff without literally giving him like say a British accent or something. And there was like, oh yeah, it was just like his grammar is it's actually more similar to stuff that you would see in like Romance languages or even like Japanese with the way that they
also
talk.
Another key point about that, Coleman, too, is what Lucas said in an interview is the reason Yoda talks that way is because he says he knows a lot of kids watch his movies and he wanted kids to pay attention and absorb what Yoda is actually saying, because some kids might tune out, like when, you know, like when their teacher or something like that tells them something important and they need to learn. He's just like, no, I want kids to actually absorb the teachings that Yoda is trying to pass on to Luke.
Right.
So have Yoda talk in an unnatural way would immediately stick out to a child, where he said to even a child would pay attention.
Well, and I think that's what's contributed to why so many of Yoda's lines are
so
have
widely
stuck around.
quoted. Yeah. No,
it's like how many times do people say "do or do not"? There is no try. He's literally saying, "Don't just try, do it." And I'm like, yes, but the way he said it makes it quote. So people to this day, even if they're not specifically thinking of Star Wars, will say "do or do not." There is no try.
Yeah, exactly. And just back to Tolkien for a second.
Not this crude matter, luminous beings we are.
Exactly. But in regards to Tolkien, people are like, I've seen comments of people being like, you know, oh, Revenge of the prequels were underwhelming. Lord of the Rings was more popular back then, or it was more widely acclaimed, which, I mean, fair enough. Like, we're talking back in the early 2000s. So people say, like, with the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings and stuff, that like, oh, well, you know, those changes were warranted because they improved the movie, whereas the cuts to the special editions and the remastered cuts of the original trilogy weren't warranted because they supposedly hindered, or they'll come up with all this wacky bullshit criteria to make their point stick. But they'll say like, oh, well, Lord of the Rings was better than Star Wars, so hot. And I'm like, okay, Lord of the Rings is better in terms of a written story than Star Wars. Fair enough. Maybe you're right. All right. Maybe you're right. Or maybe you probably are right. But the
I
fact
just see it as
that
apples and oranges.
No. Let me get to my point, because like Lucas hates writing stories. He hates typical, you know, story structure and characters and plot and, you know, drama and things like that. He only made Star Wars because if I was going to make a movie, this is a movie that I liked growing up. This is what I would like to see. This is what I'm going to make. Right. This is why he made it. He likes visual storytelling, which is all over Star Wars, more so than, you know, literary storytelling, which is, you know, through heavy dialogue. And I emphasize this point a great deal in the Lucas video I'm doing. That said, so Professor Tolkien wrote a better story than some indie filmmaker called George Lucas. Fair enough. The fact that we're even putting the two of them in the same sentence is incredible in terms of how good of a writer George Lucas is. The fact that we're even talking and comparing the two. Because he never wanted to go that direction. He just did it and he found success and he stuck with it. And here we are. We're still talking about it. And we're still comparing and we're still having conversations. Which is better, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, blah, blah, blah.
I still say it's an apples and oranges thing when people make those comparisons.
Well, that's fine too. Like, I mean, I agree. Like, if I had to... It is hard. I mean, I find it hard to compare. But, like, we're talking about, obviously, you know, the script for Lord of the Rings. And I say this, Lord of the Rings are amazing. Some of the best movies ever made. Love them to this day. Watch them every year, multiple times. The extended cuts, just for the record. But and I say this all the time, like in regards to Tolkien was a writer, right? He wrote the books. He couldn't make the movies. He wouldn't even know where to begin in terms of making it a movie. Peter Jackson, incredible filmmaker. He adapted the text. He did an outstanding job, an amazing job. But he was adapting someone else's story or literature, right? George Lucas did all of fucking that himself. That's why I fucking love the guy, because he took nothing, made it something, made it into $1 billion thing, made it multi-generational defining. So, you know, people try to shit on George, like that's the argument I use. And again, the only arguments they have is just misconceptions and lies they heard from somewhere else. So there you go.
I'll put it this way. 50 years from now, people will still be talking about George Lucas and Star Wars. Absolutely. They will not be talking about Red Letter Media.
No.
Pretty much, yeah.
Put that on my tomb. I will stand by that.
I'll get back to some of the chat. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to be listening to the chat now. So This is where the fun begins, you donkey. Hell's Kitchen fans will know. I have been fucking binging Hell's Kitchen lately, so I'm glad you put that up there. Love that show. Love Gordon Ramsay, and I love even more than Gordon Ramsay. I think I love Marco Pierre White, actually, who taught Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay is such a meme. What are you, an idiot sandwich?
What are you, an idiot sandwich? Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay locks himself in the freezer to scream. That's one of my favorite reaction images.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're late, man. Always late. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get this cranberry sauce. Yeah, a wizard is never late. Yes, NOMZ isn't brave enough for politics. We just had our election in Australia, by the way.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunder.
Oh wow! Look how far in the chat we are. Oh my god, we'll get it started eventually. Holy shit! Sorry, we better catch up. I apologize, guys. Choose SpongeBob SquarePants time card 2 hours later.
I mean, that's actually prophetic now.
Yeah.
Considering what we're getting into the chat.
2 hours later.
How's everyone's day? Pretty fucking good. It is a good day.
Beautiful weather. It is beautiful today.
Yeah.
And my headache's finally cleared, so I'm so happy now.
Good movies are making money. Love is in the air, foreshadowing, and Star Wars Day. What's not to be? And in Australia, where I am, it is bright and sunny outside. Nothing to be sad about.
It's bright and sunny here.
That's it. Fantastic. And I'm late. Sorry for being late. He's gone too far. This is mad. I rewatched the original trilogy this weekend. I think I've arrived at the opinion that New Hope is better than Empire Strikes Back. Hey man, I agree. Honestly, pound for pound, I think New Hope is better. Even if I prefer,
like I said,
they each do something different better.
Differently.
Absolutely. I think Empire Strikes Back has the better story, but I think A New Hope, like from start to finish, pound for pound, better movie. Revenge of the Sith in 40X. Good on you, man. I hope you had a good experience. I hope the seats were clean. We spoke about that earlier. Hey, how you doing? Yep. Yeah, boy. Here we go. Wise Wolf, how you doing? NOMZ is late, as usual. I barely stream now. Like, granted, you'd think I could show up on time.
He's a married man, guys. He's too good for us.
Soon to be married. Well, not even soon. Like the wedding is still over a year away. So you know.
Well, considering
he's an engaged man, chat. He's too good for us.
Well, considering how busy he's been, he won't finish a movie with me, and he's like, we gotta have bro time.
That. He would not stop being grumpy about that.
Hey, you've been denying me as well, but
not as much.
We'll get to why that is later on.
Not recently.
Okay, recently, fine. I've been the bad guy. Bradley, how you doing, pal? Good to see you. I was going to see Revenge, but I didn't want to do the audience reaction every time something significant happened. Actually, my going experience is actually quite tame. People
our theater was actually mostly quiet, except for a couple of key moments where when people laughed at specific lines you were obviously intended to laugh at.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, when Kenobi said hello there, the crowd did all go hello there in response. Back at Ewan, like as if they were responding to him.
Yeah, the biggest reaction in my theater was when Yoda walks into Palpatine's office and just knocks out two highly trained guards without even trying. Everyone lost it at that. Like, Yoda. No, they shouldn't invite me. I'm sorry, man. Hey, Angel barely got an invite, so it's a very exclusive. Well,
misogyny.
We're gonna get into why later. Filmmaker KJ. I don't think I've seen this guy in the chat before. This is my first Star Wars movie, and what inspired me to become a film director. Oh wow!
Oh, nice.
Good on you, man. You hope you're out there directing and killing it, man. Good on you.
Oh my
You
gosh,
go.
that reminds me, Anomaly, 'cause his comment reminded me. So whenever Coolman and I, like, we go to see Revenge of the Sith again, and
Yeah.
we go to like we get our snacks, we get our popcorn, we get our drinks. We're in line to like buy that stuff. I finish paying for mine, and then we hear like a couple of these Gen Z girls behind us. Like they probably, I assume, are maybe like seniors in high school, 18,
Okay.
17. She's telling
Right.
her friend, she's giving her the entire plot synopsis of episode 1, episode 2, and then explaining the OT as well. And she's like, so this blah blah
Right.
blah. So this is the story of this guy called Darth Vader. He's kind of like the villain of these other movies that you haven't seen. And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, we found the one person on planet Earth who's never seen Star Wars, and she's trying to explain them all to her friend while taking her to Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, we got to explain 5.
She's like trying to
other
explain
movies.
like 5 other movies before they go in to see Revenge of the Sith.
Prequel fans had the last laugh. Also,
Yeah.
hey NOMZ, hey, how you doing? Tippy, how you doing, pal? Happy May the 4th, indeed. At last, we have revenge. It's a classic line. So, I love that line so much. Hello there. Grant saw the 40x showing of Revenge of the Sith in my Jedi robes. I'm not kidding. I wore cosplay at the theater. Oh, good on you, mate. Me and my mate were meeting up with some buddies at the pub after our showing. So otherwise, if I was going to go straight home, I was going to bring my lightsaber, but like my custom like $500 lightsaber. I love that thing. And I was like, oh, I should have brought it.
Star Wars shorts.
Oh, did you?
I had a Star Wars arcade shirt.
Next time I go to a screening, like probably maybe Phantom Menace's like 30th anniversary or whatever, I'm gonna fucking like bring my lightsaber and just like point it at someone who also has a lightsaber. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna see if he like, steps up and challenges me back. It's like, all right, let's go. Probably the only place on Earth you can do that and it not be weird. Star Wars screen. The fact that this film is now close to being the second Lucas Star Wars film to crack $1 billion is nuts, and it's the second prequel film too. Yeah, well, close, but adjusted for inflation, I think Star Wars is still the most
it's
successful movie of all time. It's $3.53 billion adjusted for inflation. I checked it recently. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, if you adjust for inflation, I believe Gone with the Wind is actually the most profitable movie of all time.
I think I think Star Wars is. I do.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Gone with the Wind. I remember reading somewhere. I think that Gone with the Wind would be like, and then Star Wars.
Well, maybe because Star Wars had later releases. Maybe I got to double check that.
You
could be right.
It's more because of Gone with the Wind is an insanely old movie.
It is. I know. But it also it was in theaters for a long time too. I know that. What's that with Star Wars?
Yeah. So Gone with the Wind basically made the equivalent of like $4 billion.
Wow.
So yeah, again, adjusted for inflation. So like that it's like it made a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, also even Snow White adjusted for
the
inflation
original Snow White
made like billions. Like it's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay. Still holds up on the big screen 20 years later. You're goddamn right.
So good.
See, Jared, how you doing, pal? See this guy all over the place. Seeing Revenge of the Sith on the big screen 20 years later was amazing. I love this film, and I'm glad that it made as much money as it did. People love real Star Wars, not what Disney is doing. Good.
Yeah, this proves that there isn't a Star Wars fatigue. There is an audience for Star Wars, but we want real Star Wars.
And right now we have an audience for Star Wars that's settling for scraps, table scraps, and they fling their arms and shriek anytime they see a bucket head and a little troll doll who is 50 years old yet still acts like a fucking baby. Because that's all it takes to make money now. Someone asked me, how good do you reckon Mando and Grogu is gonna do at the box office? And I was like,
I don't think it'll do that well.
No, look. Okay, with the whole lawsuit that's happening with Gina Carano, it's probably gonna take a hit, but I think it will still do well enough. I think it'll still do. It won't do anything crazy, but it'll make its money back and probably a little bit then some. But I'm not expecting.
It's not going to do that well, I don't think, because of also Mando season 3 didn't do that well in ratings either.
That's true.
And all the Disney Plus shows have been tanking in ratings.
Exactly, yeah. But who is fucking way ahead of the curve on?
You and Robot Head both called it long ago.
Fucking thank you. Holy shit! I'm tempted to take my victory lap on that one.
Well,
do a video on season 3.
I remember before Mandalorian even came out, I remember Disney announced that officially it was going to be leading into the sequels, and then that's when people are like, it's going to do something else. I'm like, what were you expecting? Like, they said it was going to be tying into the sequels you all hate.
Yeah. I think you said, or someone you told me, or you said you heard from someone's like, all roads lead to blue milk.
Green milk. Blue milk is from A New Hope.
Blue titty milk. Sorry, you said, or green titty, whatever you said.
Yeah, green titty milk.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So, anyway, back.
I rewatched that Kenobi review and I was still yelling at Cool Man then too, and I'm like, "You got the wrong
milk." Howdy NOMZ, American Counter Rev 2025. Thank you. Good to see you. Imagine how pitiful the numbers will be if Disney re-release sequel trilogy in theaters.
I hope they do that.
Well, they are, and because the only like out the RLM boomers and shit have now is, the sequels are gonna have a good re-release and the sequels will be loved in 20 years. It's like,
that'll be the real test.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna do as well.
Not even close. I mean, they'll make money from people who have clung to those films since they saw them in theaters. But that's a small demographic comparatively. Generationally, like the newer people coming out, they're gonna have their dads.
I foresee it'll be like when they re-released all the Spider-Man films, and what were the most profitable? The Tobey ones. What were the least profitable? The Holland ones.
Oh, did that really happen?
That really happened. They decided to re-release all the Spider-Man films for like a whole month.
All right. Was that for the 20th anniversary of? Was that back in 2022? I think that was the 2022 one, right? No.
And granted, I think if they picked a better month to do it, all the movies would have done a little bit better. But it went in order. The Tobey's films did the most money. The Andrew films did decent, and the Holland films were kind of in money.
Okay, well there you go. That's right. They came out for Spider-Man 2's 20th, and that went toe to toe with Phantom Menace's 25th, and Phantom Menace just scorched them all, didn't they?
It did. Like I said, they should have picked a better time. The other weird time is they also did weekday releases for a bunch of them. And I'm like, why did you guys do weekend releases? They would have made way more money if they did weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but here's the thing. I doubt that the sequels. Here's the thing. I tell people all the time. When people who saw the movies in theaters and have clung to them, at all costs, they're the ones that'll probably go see it in theaters, right? Every other Star Wars fan, both past and present, who was getting introduced to those movies without the hype train behind it, and with all of these facts having surfaced about what went into those fucking movies and why there was such train wrecks. And future generations are going to watch Star Wars in order of 1 to 6, and the Disney films are going to be treated as sequels, meaning they're going to go from Phantom Menace to Return of the Jedi, be like, wow, unreal, crazy. And then they're going to hit Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? So, no, those movies are not going to get a resurgence.
To factor in, people who are Disney shills likely would have a Disney Plus account. Why would they go see those movies when they have a Disney Plus account and they could just watch the movies for free?
Yeah, so you have to.
Are they gonna come clamoring to shill out money like the way prequel fans did? Because if someone could make the same argument, and I'm like, well, the proof is in the pudding. Yes, you could get access to the prequel movies for free having a Disney Plus account, and yet why did all these people go out to see Revenge of the Sith? It's because it's a good movie, and people want a cinema experience.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And here's the thing: people are like, well, of course, a Star Wars movie is going to make money when it goes back into theaters. It's like, no. You said that these movies sucked and would never be remembered and were, only successful because of the hype. This disproves that. Not only that, but divorced from the hype train of the initial box office run. These people are willingly paying money to see a movie they can see for free at home, at the theater, and the movie isn't just making money. It's breaking fucking records making money.
Yeah, it's beating out other movies that are out now, which is why they need to just re-release more stuff. Like all you stupid Hollywood studios, you are like, so many of you guys are going like down the tubes.
Yeah.
Just re-release some of your old IPs that you have in theaters. It'll help you recoup costs because, first of all, you're not paying any production. Like, whatever you're paying a theater to distribute is going to be way less than the cost of like putting like out one of your own movies that you paid to make. So like, it's just, you're just raking in royalties. Like, so just like do that, and you might gain some goodwill with some regular audiences. And you theaters need to like advocate for it more, because a lot of you theaters, I know you're getting frustrated with Hollywood. Several people who've worked in the theater industry have been saying how frustrated they are that there's no decent enough movies to get people to come out to their movie theaters for.
Yeah, you're right. People need to remember how good it was to go to the fucking movies. And I have been lately with these re-releases and stuff.
I think in these past couple months has been the most that Coolman and I have gone to the movies in a while.
Yeah. Well, and because I remember back in high school, me and a group of friends would go to the movies like every weekend. Like and there was
always coming out.
Yeah, there was always something to watch.
Always something new.
Yeah, and now it just feels like there's nothing.
Scraps.
Thankfully, though, recently there actually has been quite a few decent things, and not just like Revenge of the Sith and a couple of other things that I know like have made normies happy. So it's just like
Transformers 1.
Well, okay, that's different. That's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like genuine movies. Like I know that some people like enjoyed Accountant 2.
I'm hearing good things about that. Yeah.
And I've heard people like Sinners. It doesn't seem like a movie I'd be interested, but I've heard some like normies actually like that movie. As dumb as Minecraft is, that movie's definitely made a lot of money because of it. Like, Minecraft makes a lot of money in general as a game. Of course, all the Gen Z kids were going to turn out for that one. It's a meme movie, but whatever. But it's just like you just give whatever your demographic wants, and they're gonna come. An indie movie that has come out recently that Coolman and I went and saw, and it's mostly made for family, but it came out Easter week. It's called The King of Kings, a story by Charles Dickens. It's just a very simple animated movie. It's Charles Dickens, literally the author Charles Dickens, who wrote
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. He's basically just telling the story of Jesus Christ's life to his son. And it's just his son imagining all these events of Jesus's life throughout this animated movie. It was animated in Korea, funnily enough, but it was distributed by an indie studio called Angel Studios. And it actually did really well, like for an indie film, like genuinely well. It did really well its first weekend. It did really great for the Easter weekend. And it's actually still going pretty decently, like strong for an indie film. And it's just like, just give families and stuff like and people, just whatever your demographic is, what they want. And the audience is there. They will come. Everybody just needs to find a specific niche. And guess what? The people will come. You just got to find out which ones, like actually listen to the types of movies people like.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just lost the chat real quick. Hang on. Where's the trying to catch up on the chat, guys. I really sorry. CM Punk fan. Red Letter Media can stick it, brother. I get it. You guys probably wouldn't get that one. You guys aren't familiar with pro wrestling, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, but I agree that they can suck it.
Yeah, stick it. Stick it. No, but brother is a quote from a pro wrestler, a different pro wrestler.
Well, I mean, I know Hulk Hogan calls people.
I know, brother.
Yeah. He's been catching a lot of flack recently, that guy, because he's been a prick for 30 years in the business. So you love to see it. Chase Hedges, 67, Revenge of the Sith must be fucking A, man, fucking A, damn straight. Delavin, I can't pronounce it. Love Princess Mononoke.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah, New Angel's gonna jump on that.
I love that movie so much. I just love it. It's so beautiful.
Hey man, have you finished the book you're currently writing? No, I haven't. I've been focused on other things.
Guy's engaged. A woman's taking up his time now.
Yeah, no,
he doesn't have enough time for Cool Man anymore.
But I will say, I think about like ideas for and stuff every day. Like it hasn't left my heart. Like I'm still keen to finish it. I really would like to finish this George Lucas video so I can move on to other stuff. Like I can work on that some more. I can make. There's a couple of Breaking Bad videos I want to make. I want to talk about Daredevil Born Again. Pray for me if I have to watch that at some point. Apparently, it's getting a season 2. So,
it was always going to get a season 2.
Yeah, no. Hey, well, what happened? Do you know what I think happened? They said there was going to be 18 episodes, but I think they halved it and they said there's going to be 9
They
episodes.
always do that. These streaming studios always do that to act like something's a genuine success. It's so astroturfed. It's annoying.
Yeah. But did they just like take half of the original plans for season 1 and just make a season 2 out of it? I'm guessing that's what happened.
Well,
either that or they just overcommitted.
Well, what they usually do is they order a number of episodes, let's just say 20 episodes. Then they split it up into 2 quote seasons. They make the first 10 just season 1, and then they next 10 season 2. And then they release after season 1 is finished, they go, "Oh, it was so successful, we're announcing season 2." And
the genuine test is to see if a season 3 actually gets announced, because then you know the numbers were really bad. What's even funnier is the ones that like don't even get the season 2, where you're like, "Wow, the numbers were so bad that the studio even came in and said, no, whatever you made, we're scrapping that."
Yeah,
that's not happening.
Yeah.
But that's rare. Like, for example, Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, that rarely happens. They rarely ever say, "Nope, sorry, nope, you're not allowed to continue." Yeah. It was just like, it was that bad. Like, Velma got a season 2. Velma, and that was hated by literally everybody. But the only reason is because it was literally just one season that they split into 2 seasons and claimed, "Oh yeah, we totally we got plenty of numbers." It's like, yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah, and because I remember they literally had already filed a trademark and production for season 2, like a year before season 1 of Velma was even released.
Halo did the same thing with the garbage Halo show. It's all astroturfed.
Yeah. The less said about that, the better.
Hey, it's canceled. Doesn't matter.
I know, yeah. And it's already on other streaming platforms too, because they have to try and cut their losses somehow.
Well, that's the other problem. They spend so much money making these garbage shows too.
They promoted the shit out of the crappy Halo series. Like Paramount.
They spent like, what was it again? $10 million per episode.
Yeah.
It's like, what the frick?
No, but I couldn't believe how hard they were shilling it. I'm like, really? Now you want to give a fuck about a video game IP as your flagship show? Because it was like the flagship show for Paramount in terms of like what new shit coming out.
It's because Paramount's been doing as well in terms of.
But also I just couldn't believe how hard they were pushing it, and I was like, get that shit off my screen, please. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at you. Go away. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
it's evil.
Off. Fucking. Fun to laugh at, but still, just fuck off. I'd rather just not have you in my line of sight. Anyway, Charlie Spur, never keep the benefactor waiting again. I'm sorry. Blame the token female and the other guy. I just said re-release. Metal as fucked and straight. I have to get through as much as I can. Arm is so boring. Yeah, they bore the shit out of me. Fucking. I've tried to watch a couple of their stuff, and I'm always just sitting there questioning life. I'm just like,
they like maybe only have one genuinely good quote, and that's it. But also, all the guys have such annoying laughs too.
Annoying laughs, and they're so smug. They're idiots, and they're smug about being idiots. It's like, fuck you, just fuck you, fuck everything that comes out of your mouth. Like. There's natural selection is not going to pick you. I swear. Like, there's a reason. There's a reason why your fan base is like turning against you slowly because of your.
They defended Kenobi. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and they say, "Oh, well, it's just everyone else is an idiot." It's like, no. This is happening for a reason, a good reason. Around when the Circle Jerk Sims are pissing themselves right now. I imagine they are. I believe it was 2006. Well, close enough. All right, close enough.
Either way, early 2000s. Welcome back.
Yes. No one will have any memories of the sequel in the next 20 years in comparison to George Lucas films. I think they will be remembered as.
Oh, they will be remembered. They will be infamous.
Yeah, they'll be infamous. Yeah, basically. George's movies will be. They'll stand the test of time, and the sequels, well, the Disney. I don't even call them the sequels anymore, guys. I call them the Disney films. Every time I call them the sequels, I have to correct myself because
redo the J. Jonah Jameson quote. Instead, it's just like George Lucas's movies are famous. The Disney movies will be infamous.
Yeah, gotta love J. Jonah Jameson. There is nothing unique or groundbreaking about the way they rush those films just to make a quick buck. He's talking about the Disney films.
Which is true.
99 to 05 was the golden era for gaming and fell off a cliff after 08.
Disagree. Bayonetta came out in 09.
I think that's been more of an up and down thing, but it's because I've definitely played some good games in the past decade. But yeah, I'd say
wrong. Skyward Sword came out in 2011.
Twilight Princess. Twilight
Princess was 2006.
Yeah, cool. Oh, cool. Then all right, fine. Well, I mean, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Like I said, Bayonetta. Yeah. Bayonetta came out in 09. You're just wrong. The Bayonetta games are great.
Anyway, let's keep going. 2000s best decade for entertainment. Fucking right. Full Metal. I finished Full Metal Alchemist.
Also, the Transformers game, it came out past that. Those Transformers games, like War for Cybertron, Fall for Cybertron, banger!
And then Transformers Devastation, which came out in 2013, I think.
Yes.
You being sarcastic or you?
No, I'm being
those
serious.
Are awesome. We recently.
Okay. All right.
Those games are
awesome.
Those
games are top tier. I freaking love them.
All right. I believe you. We're all entitled to how. No, I'm kidding. I have no opinion on the matter. I'm just staring.
You were going to troll out of instinct, and you were like, "Wait a minute, no, I'm backing out of this."
Stirring you both is like one of my favorite pastimes. I swear. Even if I do it to varying degrees. Anyway, Red Orange. Hi there, hello. How are you? Cat Yellow Ranger, 90s, early 2000s were peak. Yes, they were.
Absolutely.
A long way to go. I thought we were catching up. I guess not. The prequels continue to age like the finest of, not the finest of wine. I don't know if that's intentional or not. The finest of wines or the finest like actual wine. I don't know.
I think it was a misspelling.
I think it might have been intentional. I don't know. Everyone. Oh yeah, God! The Star Wars games in the 2000s were fucking killer. Pod Racer, fucking Rogue Squadron.
Pod Racer game was so good. I love that.
Force Unleashed, Jedi Academy. Probably missing a few. I haven't played them all. I want to play them all.
Speaking of that, there's a Nintendo Switch collection of a bunch of Star Wars games, and it's got like Pod Racing, Rogue Squadron. Yeah. The Force Unleashed, Jedi Academy. It's like 8 games in that collection.
Gotta play it. Dan the Man, OT Purist, but my childhood. Yeah,
it was my childhood too. See how I also have a brain though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you want good Star Wars. They just want childhood. That's the difference.
But that was my childhood. And it's so funny too because of like my older brother. I love him to bits, but like he actually had to concede to one argument because he was about to fall into a stupid pitfall, and only until like I pulled him out with this great zinger that he realized how stupid his comment was. He was saying the only reason I like the prequels is because I didn't grow up on the OT when they came out, and I said 2 things to him, and I said. 1, you didn't grow up on the OT when they came out either. You were born a year after Return of the Jedi came out. It's like 2, Dad drug us to the movie theaters all the time, every time they re-released the OT. So all of us got the original trilogy experience. Every single one of us. Yeah. All of us. From you to my older sister to me to my little sister to my little brother, from the theatrical releases because they re-released those, and then of course the special edition ones. We got to experience all of that all the time. Our opinions, like we all loved all of them equally. Why is mine different just because I like the prequels? As soon as I said that, he kind of was just like, all right, yeah, you know, that was really stupid of me to make that argument. It was just like, okay, thank you.
And to be fair, though, I think the whole my childhood aspect, when it comes to really shallow people, extends across many different fan bases. It's just, I think it's far more pronounced in Star Wars. Like, that's not a Star Wars exclusive thing, I need to be clear on. But it is very obnoxious, and we need to outgrow it.
Nerdy home, hello.
Hello.
Oh, Nerdy's in the chat. What?
Yeah.
Look at the chat. I'm sorry.
Right
I'm still.
It's okay. I got the recent chat. I know yours like scroll all the way down.
I think she was.
She's there. Say hi to her.
Hi, Nerdy. How are you? Glad to have you with us. Yeah, I think she was streaming earlier. But I'm glad she's here with us now. That's cool. Let me look at this. Frozen Nuggets. The Discools, I haven't heard that. Completely exposed prequel haters. Yes, that's the name I came up with the Disney 3 cat movies. Hey, I'll take it. It's hatred for George Lucas. It's actually insane. Yeah. George Lucas is a genius, and his prequels of the original trilogy are his babies. One thing I will point out: James Cameron Avatar, poorly written. I love those movies. But like the one re-release that actually beat Revenge of the Sith was James Cameron's first Avatar film. But that's because Avatar was out for a whole, I mean, granted, it still did very well, even if it wasn't out for a whole month. But if they kept Revenge of the Sith out for a whole month, that would have, Revenge of the Sith might have actually eclipsed Avatar. So I
think the only reason they did is I knew Thunderbolts would have been in a lot of trouble if Revenge of the Sith was not longer.
Yeah, good point.
And Disney's just like, oh, we can't let it affect Thunderbolts. And I'm just like, Thunderbolts is going to fail anyway. There's just no way. Like, you should have just let Revenge of the Sith out longer to try to recoup your losses, Disney.
Yeah.
Like, you need to recoup your losses after the abysmal failure that was Snow White.
Well,
I steered so clear of that fucking mess. I just, kind of stood on the sidelines. I actually didn't even watch the chaos. I just kind of like, no, I can't get it. I feel like if I get into that, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna get.
You don't need to. I ripped it apart enough for most of us. I know. It makes me angry. Nerdy did it more than any of us. Nerdy's got a lot of videos on it. Shout out to my nerdy home.
Shout out to my nerdy home.
Go to her channel, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I actually told Nerdy Nerdy, if she's still with us, I was telling her how much you guys loved her, because again, I was steering clear of the Snow White controversy. You guys were loving her videos, or you in particular, Angel.
Me in particular, because I follow.
Yeah. Morrow 04. No, the Avatar movies are great. Fucking oath, bro. Fucking oath. Right there with you. George Lucas had every right to do what he wanted to do with his movies. Those fans had the prequels, I understand, right? I mean, absolutely, but I it's more nuanced than that. It's not that they don't understand true art. They just like had their own really shallow perception of the art, and they wanted to see that back on the screen.
They don't even understand the original trilogy.
Yeah, they don't, not really. From what I've seen, like they think they do, but it's like no. And all the criticism, almost every single criticism I see of what was kind of, they'll say what's very wrong with the prequels and what's kind of could have been improved in the OT, because that's how they like to frame it. Every criticism I've seen would have made those movies dumber. They would have made it we should spell this out for the audience. No, the audience can grasp it without it needing to be spelled out. You know what I mean?
Like, they just didn't. Yeah. They just genuinely don't understand Star Wars. Like thematically, so much of the story had to happen the way it did in the prequels because of like Anakin and Luke's story. They echo each other's, but they go in different directions because of Luke obviously doesn't make the same mistakes as his father.
Yeah, absolutely. And the subtle nuances of like differences between Anakin and Luke. When you listen to George talk about it in the commentary, it's quite brilliant. Like in terms of like just a very subtle one, like Luke being offered the chance to adventure by Obi-Wan. He wants to go, but he's like, no, I got to stay and help my aunt and uncle. He doesn't leap at the opportunity. Obviously, he's forced to leave, because the Empire takes his family away from him and he has no reason for being there anymore. And, fate helps him on his way, but he doesn't leap at the opportunity to abandon his family. You know what I mean? To chase adventure. Whereas Anakin, when Qui-Gon says you're free, you're allowed to go see the galaxy, blah blah blah, and then they say, do you really want to leave your mother? And he initially, do you really want to leave your mother? Do you really want to be a Jedi and travel the galaxy with me? And he's like, yeah, I do. I want to go. And then it's only after he initially jumps at the chance to adventure that he's like, oh, wait a minute. What about mom? What about, I can't just leave her here. Like, it clicks for him after that. You know what I mean? Like, just something as simple as that. He says,
well, yeah, there's different diverges. Like, Luke wants to go on adventure, but he feels like he can't because of his aunt and uncle. But he very much wants to. And then basically his home is destroyed, his family's destroyed, so there's nothing left for him. So there's really nothing attaching him to Tatooine. He's kind of now like there's no anchor there for him anymore. Whereas Anakin, it's the opposite. He wants to go on adventure, but he still has an anchor that makes him look back. Like it's like Luke and Anakin stories do parallel, but they do echo, but they also diverge in specific areas. Because as much as people meme the line, like Lucas's line is correct. It's just like it's poetry. They rhyme, and what are rhymes?
Yeah.
Rhymes are words that sound similar, but they have completely different meanings. Luke and Anakin's story look similar in certain parts, but they diverge.
Yeah, they have very clear.
And it's the same with the world. Like one is the fall of. Both of them are a fall of different regimes, but one's a fall of a republic, the other's a fall of an empire.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. JR24, I heard rumors that George Lucas originally wanted others to write direct the prequels. He was always going to write the prequels, I think, but he wanted someone else to direct them. And he asked Steven Spielberg, Ron Howard, and Robert Zemeckis, I think. Those were the three he wanted.
And they all said, you should do it, George.
Yeah, and thank fuck they did. George Lucas is the GOAT. Damn straight.
You want to know what's funny? If we lived in the timeline where any one of them did it, I bet you some of these same people would have still hated it because if the prequels wouldn't match whatever their headcanons are. And instead, the talking point would be George should have been one to direct them.
Yeah. That's a good start. Yeah, I think you might have done something with that. Yeah. I think there's definitely some truth in that. We've got some rankings here. Is this best to worst or worst to best? I can't tell. You guys are getting more specific. I think it's best to worst, what he's saying. Or best to least best. Frozen Nuggets.
There's no such thing as a worst George Lucas Star Wars movie. There's only good stuff.
Yeah. I love that quote from Loki. It's like, there is no official ranking. There is only the war. Everyone argues about it. I'll skip ahead just a bit. I really want to try. We've got some supers. Here we go. First super. Oliver Harper. CGI dates far quicker than miniatures and optimals. Me as 2,000 persons. Oh yeah, digital cameras and non-linear editing software are greater than film negatives and flatbed editing systems any day. True. Good point. That digital technology.
It depends. I hate this it's always like a one or the other thing and something's better than the other. It's really case by case with certain special effects. Because certain special effects age well, certain special effects don't. But it's all dependent on the person who's making the special effect. You will find certain practical effects that did age, but you'll find other practical effects that still look immaculate and stand the test of time. Versus CGI. We've seen some CGI that, like, first of all, look at the Balrog. Balrog's awesome. But then, like, say, look at, like, the CGI Thor Love and Thunder. That's aged awful compared to, like, something like the Balrog, which came out, like, way early. Or, like, look at the CGI in Pirates of the Caribbean. Amazing. Look at current MCU. Blah. So it really depends on who has the tools and who's making it.
Yeah, no, agreed. And what was I going to say? They do both have their place, and the common misconception is that the prequels were all CGI, and that's utter horse shit. Yeah, it's complete bullshit.
George Lucas loves technology. He adores technology. He will use any technology that he can, and anytime something is innovative, he will keep tapping into that technology. He thinks technology is great and that they are tools that mankind should use. That's why he used every resource he could available in the OT. And same with the prequels. He used every resource available, not just CGI. He still used miniatures. He still used like some practical here and there. Like it's not Like, he will use whatever tool he can.
Yeah, no, exactly. He always pushed technology forward. People say, like, another weak source criticism I've heard is like, oh, so the prequels were just tech demos for him then. It's like, really get fucked. Like, those movies were pushed technology and made movies that were like decades ahead of their fucking time. I mean,
And
hell,
several
even the
movies
originals
nowadays
too.
also owe a lot to the prequels in terms of what George Lucas pushed forward with the CGI. Like, look at certain shots of, like, say, Felucia, and then look at other movies that were able to create amazing environments. Also,
I think Avatar has a lot to contribute to that. I think Lord of the Rings as well.
Well, ILM has their fingers in so many pies.
I don't think ILM had anything to do with those movies.
No, I just mean ILM as a company. Like, George Lucas created ILM, and so many movies owe a lot to ILM. George Lucas created that.
Yeah,
so cope all you want, Lucas haters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, Sam Witwer's rant on George Lucas spells it out beautifully. Go look it up. It's great. It's 12 minutes of therapy, really. Sam Witwer is such a legend.
I that video every once in a while gets recommended to me, and I'm like, well, there's one YouTube recommendation that will never fail.
Yeah. I think we're up to the part where I was talking about my first kiss, because people were asking about the ring and that. Sorry, not my first kiss. My first kiss with my fiance. Where's my ring, NOMZ? Where is it? It's been 63 months. It's gonna be a really big one, a really big stone, I promise. NOMZ is based, and I love it. Yeah, because Ghost was saying, "Oh, it's a lovely view." Because I was talking about the Sydney Harbour, yeah, and from the Opera House, yeah, beautiful. Even more pretty in the moonlight. I think it's very nice. NOMZ is based. I love it. Thank you. Red Oren. Something that bothers me is that they bring up George and Marsha's divorce, but they don't mention a potential reason why. Okay, the reason why is very messy. Like, you know, it's kind of like a he said, she said. One thing that is for sure, right, and I'll talk about this more. It's been spoken about recently by a guy called Honeycutt. He talks about Marsha Lucas, not only like her personal life, but also her what she actually did for Star Wars and why it's often misrepresented to spite George. I can't recommend that video enough. I recommend it. It's cool, man. He loved it.
Yeah.
He also did a really good one on the prequels as well. Honeycutt videos. Go look it up. Anyway, but basically, like, this is fact. Marsha Lucas wanted to, like, apparently she wanted a more like simple life. She didn't like that George was, you know, overseeing like a vast empire, and she wanted to just kind of settle down. And so when there was a guy building Skywalker Ranch, she was making a beautiful glass dome for the library. I forget his name, something Rodriguez. She basically, you know, fell into his arms and wanted out of the marriage with George. And he was like 10 years younger than both of them. So she was like cougaring on this guy. And then she wanted out from George, and George was like heartbroken. And apparently he said, all right, you can take $50 million, but I'm keeping the rest of the assets. And you're not touching Skywalker Ranch because that's my baby. Like, and then that's basically it. Like, then he cut ties with her. And what I find strange about the explanation in, I think it was in, it was in one of the books. I don't think it was in Skywalking. I think it was where the reference was made. George, like the part about her leaving George for Younger Man is 100% true. George has spoken about this in interviews. In terms of like the reasons why, in terms of George, you know, having this vast empire and him not spending enough time with her and stuff, that's he said, she said. It's been spoken about in certain books. What I find is not a good look for Marsha is that around 1982, which is around the time they actually decided to divorce, George had adopted his first daughter, which I'd imagine he was intending to raise them to both raise together. He had also been telling the cast how tired he was, and he was planning to punch out anyway from directing after he finished Return of the Jedi. So the idea that Marsha didn't want to be with Lucas anymore because he wasn't going to have enough time for her, and that he was going to be just the workaholic, you know, forever, and you know, it was going to be a miserable marriage for her. I don't buy that because it seemed like he was already trying to kind of put Star Wars behind him and settle down anyway. I could be wrong about certain, the timeline of events. You know what I mean? Like when she decided this, who was actually, neglecting who, and
Well, there's also George did want to do the sequels, but obviously the divorce changed.
He wanted a break. He wanted that's true. That the divorce probably put the prequels off by another 5 years, I reckon. But he did definitely want a break. I know that
because I know originally the whole sequels was going to be eventually that Luke was going to search for his sister. Leia wasn't supposed to be the sister. But then the divorce happened, things like that, and Lucas kind of just didn't have the heart to do the sequels anymore. And and then that's why it was things were changed and Leia was made the sister, because Lucas still wanted Luke to have the sister. That's an idea that he's had for a while.
Well, Leia being the sister, I think, is an idea he always had. Like he could have run with, but like it wasn't the primary way to go. Like Rick talks about that extensively in the George Lucas sequel trilogy video. I recommend giving it a look. But yeah, so.
But like we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know. And honestly, it's none of my business to know what's going on in George Lucas's life. That's why I don't look into it out of respect for George, because if I like George but he's like, his things are better now. He's got a new wife. Life is better. He's got a couple kids. Great. So it's like in the end, like all's well that ends well for George. But like, I'm not going to speculate one way or another. But yeah, I will admit that like there's a lot about Marcia that I don't know about. But like some people said she cheated on him. Well, there's really no evidence of it. But like, again, I can see why people would think she did, because if she did leave him for a younger man.
Yeah. And the irony behind that is that she found Anakin and Padme's romance to be unbelievable because...
Well, Han and Leia is a similar age difference between
No, because Padme is older than Anakin.
I know, but I'm saying Han and Leia has an even bigger age difference, and Han and Leia is a very similar age difference as Marcia Lucas and her new guy.
Right. Like I said, I just find it incredibly ironic because, she was saying a whole bunch of stuff that was trying to like curry favor with the boomer crazies that like shat on the prequels, and she was trying to feel like she was staying on the right side of history. But like, look, the only reason anyone knows who the fuck Marsha Lucas is because her name is Marsha Lucas. That she kept her married name after she divorced the guy too. That's what also kind of grinds my gears. She knows that nobody knows who the fuck she is without her husband. Her husband made her a fortune. So whatever she had to put up with, unless he was abusive, which he wasn't, obviously, but like, you know what I mean? Like whatever she had to put up with personally, this is my take on it. Like, I say suck it up. Like, dude's working hard for you and, he's trying to provide for you and he's given you everything you could have ever wanted. But, the strapping young handyman caught your eye and all of a sudden you want outs. Like I said, there's probably more to the story. Not a good look as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's move on. George actually thought he was not going to see it. Yeah, he didn't. He was the last person who thought Star Wars would be a success. Steven Spielberg.
God bless Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, he knew it was going to be big from the start. Even when everyone, including George, is like, it's probably going to fall flat. And he's like, nah, I think it's going to fucking kill. I go back between Revenge and Empire as number one. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah. Like I said, A New Hope only became my number two because I read Rinzel's books, which I would recommend to everyone. Go and read J.W. Rinzel's books. Go and read Paul Duncan's Star Wars Archives as well. Episode 3 is literally the quintessential. So yeah, I agree with that. It's like the connective tissue for everything. The Clone Wars, Darth Vader, the Empire. It's.
You want to know something that's really going to mess with your head right now?
What?
That baby at the end of the movie, because the same baby plays both Luke and Leia in each of the scenes where they're passed off to the actors. It's the exact same baby. That baby's 20 years old now.
Oh God. Yeah. I wonder if that baby is. Like if they is returned.
That baby gets to go around and say, "I got to play Luke and Leia."
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. And like, imagine what if it was like one of No, because all of George Lucas's kids were like he hadn't adopted.
Wait, one of the George Lucas's sons got to play that one Padawan who
he got
showed
shot.
up.
he got shot
in front of Bail Organa. But I said to Cool Man, and I'm like, imagine you're 13 years old and you're like, I want to be in a Star Wars film, and your dad says, well, this is going to be a scene where everybody. Like, if you're 13-year-old, be like, Dad, I want to go out in blazing glory. Let a bunch of stormtroopers shoot me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
all
would
right.
you say yes? And Coolman's like, yes, yes, I would if I was 13 on a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would. Freaking yeah, like that's the thing. And like, people like well, actually, I'll get to that in a second. But like, yeah, Jet Lucas would have loved shooting that scene. He's like, dude, you get to dress up like a Padawan and use a lightsaber and shit. Like, who the hell would
jump in all cool
that?
before he like gets gunned down in a blazing glory.
Yeah. But like, for all the people that shat on George Lucas, for ruining Star Wars, like Simon Pegg was one of them. Apparently George Lucas hired the motherfucker to voice act in the Clone Wars. So, even though he was shitting on George, he, turned on his facade and acted like the fucking nice guy. Like, oh, George.
Because Simon Pegg is Simon Pegg.
He's I don't like him. Talented comedic actor, but like two-faced sack of crap as far as I'm concerned.
You don't have to like a person to acknowledge that they at least have good talent. That's something certain people in the internet refuse to do, however, for some reason.
I mean, well, I don't think he's talented at a lot of things. I just think he's talented at comedy.
No, but like you could acknowledge somebody's really good at their craft.
Right, yeah.
Without like you don't have to like them as a person, but people have to like, well, I don't like George Lucas as a person, but also he actually is not good at his craft. I'm like, you're just stupid.
Cool Man will get this. It's just business.
It's just good business.
Yeah, it's good business. Pirates. 20 years ago, my Sibs and I went to Revenge of the Sith at the midnight premiere in our small town. Our costumes got us on the front page of the local newspaper in an interview. I still have my copy. Wow.
That's cool.
Cool. Keep that, man. Hang on to that. Frame that shit even. I would. Peace out, meatbags. Peace out. Thanks for coming by, Ace. Appreciate it. We're still quite far back in the chat. I'm trying to catch up. I really am. I thought I was doing a good job. CM Punk fan. None of George Lucas' Star Wars movies is bad. Yep. Agreed. You're in the minority. You're in the majority there, mate. Trying to catch up, guys. I apologize. Plinkett should cut back on those pizza rolls. Maybe that's what affects his ability to think critically. I mean, I'm glad people are starting to call him Mike and just stop with the whole Plinkett thing. Like, the character's not real. Like, it's just a fat dude behind a fucking facade, like most internet personalities are.
Well, and the funny thing is, and I know we've talked about this a lot, where like whenever you argue with someone and they send you a link to the Plinkett reviews and they go, this is the ultimate takedown, and then you start explaining why it's bad, and they go, Plinkett is just a character. It's all
He's just joking.
Yeah, and it's just like,
so why should I take his argument seriously then?
No, yeah, it's like you can't sit here and say that. But I'm like, and now a lot of people are like, yeah, Plinkett is really just a goofy persona that Mike uses to kind of shield his bad criticisms with a degree of, quote, comedy, even though he's not funny.
Right.
Cool Man's imitation of him are funny.
Yeah, no, Cool Man is good imitation.
Phantom Menace is the most disappointing thing since my son.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I don't take it seriously. I don't want to know about it. Like, I pay such little attention. I honestly paid such little attention to like critics now. Generally, like I don't watch movie reviews anymore. I don't.
You don't watch Grace Randolph.
Wow!
Whoa! Calm down. That's a bit loud.
There's this chick. She literally talks like that. I'm not even kidding. Honestly, the Mario movie's problematic. There's this guy named Bowser, and he like wants to marry her. That seems like a stalker behavior.
Not exactly good in the Me Too era.
Oh God.
Literally, that's what she was saying, and she was.
Come on, Nintendo, indoctrinate me.
Yeah. Okay.
Actual line from her review.
Oh, she is so like every time she makes a review, she gets clowned on because she's stupid.
Well, that's why I don't watch them. I'd rather just not watch them and not give them.
Sorry, I think we just hurt Ghost with Grace Randall.
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh,
Anyway.
Well. She's not a real person. I am convinced she's some corporate, like, robotic, like, NPC that they created, but it still hasn't figured out how to pretend to be a human being.
AI before AI was the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like Skynet, but for shilling, like, corporate media.
She's GPT.
I mean, yeah. George Lucas wanted people to reward for paying attention. Absolutely. You know who didn't pay attention? Obviously, Goldman. Yeah. I mean, we had him on here, and
I remember Goldman. He said that no, Rey's not a Mary Sue. She has a flaw. She's an orphan. She's an orphan. That's a flaw.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, maybe you should have thought of that before you became an orphan, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to be nice to the guy when I had him on.
You were too nice to the guy.
You're literally Tony Stark. Like, I tried to play ball with these clowns.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but like, yeah, like, I mean, look, we had a civil chat. We tore his. I don't think it was his sequel videos to shreds. If you couldn't even get the sequels right, I doubt he got the prequels right. I mean, yeah, I think he actually invited when I put my trailer out for the Phantom Menace review I was doing, which has been like a year since I put that trailer. I think he left a comment saying, "Debate me, bro. This movie's trash." And I'm like,
yeah, no, I remember because you were sending me a screenshot of that, and you're like, "Wow, Goldman just suddenly randomly popped in saying he wants to debate me." And I think he's done that a couple of times. Like he'll just leave a comment.
That's the only time I remember.
Notice me, senpai.
Well, I mean,
I need clout.
Well, look, he's doing well for himself. You know, good for him. Congrats. I don't imagine a lot of people who cling to his videos are exactly the sharpest tools in the shed, but you know, like it is what it is. I don't like doing debates though, because like, and it's not just debates I've been involved in. It's just like every time I see a debate especially on YouTube, it's an absolute fucking shit show. There's no moderation. It's just people going around in fucking circles, people backpedaling or trying to use like, you know, gotchas instead of arguments. And it's just like, it's not good. And I'm just like, look, I'd rather just make a very good video explaining my case that's going to convince people who actually want to listen instead of banging my head against the wall against some guy who's already made up his mind and has to cling to his fiction at all costs. All right. I didn't respond to the guy, but like, you know, that was other people have asked me to debate and I've just, you know, either said no or just flat out ignored them because I just have no interest in it. I'm too busy anyway. I don't have time to do debates. And especially if a debate isn't going to be you know, if I'm not going to enjoy the debate, why would I? I'm all for having discussions.
They're not coming at you with good faith. I think the only time you ever debate anybody anymore is Cool Man, but I know you guys you have actual fun doing it though.
Yeah, I love debating. Cool. It's one of my favorite things to do is debating. Yeah, but like, you know, but I know him, and you know, we know each other, and we're not shitheads to each other. So you know, he argues in good faith, I argue in good faith, and you know, that's why, you know, what was it? The debate we did was what was it? Which is worse, Iron Man 3 or Civil War? Winter Soldier. That's right.
Yeah.
And
right.
Yeah,
and it's funny. Yeah,
reasons.
because yeah.
I still like Winter Soldier.
Okay, you can
it's
be wrong.
It's good as a movie, but the second you put it into context with the MCU, a lot of things fall apart.
It does drop the ball in terms of continuity. Yeah, the whole hype. Yeah, that's.
But like, if you divorce it from the MCU, it's a great like spy thriller movie. It's an entertaining one.
Yeah,
and the stuff with Bucky and Steve is really great. Very emotional.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's
just that like. Yeah, it's just like when we were arguing, it's like your argument was on the particular character assassination, particularly of Tony in Iron Man 3, which because it's really bad in Iron Man 3. But I'm like, but the world was worse affected by Winter Soldier because like Tony bounced back in Age of Ultron. He was, as a character, he was mostly fine outside of the dumb plot. Like in terms of his personality and his character and how he acted, he was generally fine in Age of Ultron. It's just that like, the world itself was far more damaged by the destruction of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Hydra plot twist. Because now every time they try to do stuff with S.H.I.E.L.D., like especially whenever they did stuff in like Captain Marvel or the prologue of Black Widow, it's like you can tell they don't want to address that. Like, oh yeah, they were Hydra here, but we're just gonna skirt by that because it's an uncomfortable topic that they don't want to have to keep track of. All this timeline of when stuff happened. They're like, we don't want. They were just S.H.I.E.L.D.
All right, I'm gonna have to put a stop on it so now I can get to the chat because you're about to go down a rabbit hole, Cool Man. I can already tell you're going.
Oh, okay,
Totally, Let's just say that Winter Soldier dropped the ball.
People could just go watch that thing.
Yeah.
Was that a stream or was that like a video?
Yeah, that was a stream.
I think I don't know where it is now. If I kept it up.
If you ever find it, you should upload it to the NOMZ channel or something.
It might be on AI Core. I'm not sure, but
if you ever find it, that's one I think would be fun to re-upload.
Debating, Cool Man. I love debating.
Well, I mean, even recently, with Gladiator II, like we had a 3-hour discussion on it, and I like have very strong feelings about why I hate that movie.
Well, the Deadpool and Wolverine. You guys had like you both didn't like the movie, but one of you liked it a lot less.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I was like, "There's nothing good about this movie," and Naomi's like, "I think there's some good things."
Well, I said, look, it's
and also like you didn't like any of the Deadpool movies, Cool Man, and Naomi's just hang on.
Well, Deadpool is like sacred to him. His DP is Deadpool, so it's like. No pun intended. But yeah, he's really big on Deadpool. So the fact that he wasn't keen on the Ryan Reynolds one, he's just not keen on Ryan Reynolds in general. And I know a lot of people aren't. Yeah, I don't mind the guy. I think it's okay.
He's really soured on me in recent years, especially all that whole Blake Lively stuff.
I actually haven't, much like Snow White, I stayed well clear of that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Okay.
They're basically trying to Johnny Depp somebody.
Oh, okay, bad point.
Yeah, and he's on the Blake Lively's basically Amber Heard, and Ryan Reynolds is on that train.
Okay, fair
enough.
And
a little detail is that this guy they're trying to go after, you remember Nice Pool and how they constantly made fun of him and they killed him off and stuff.
He was based on that guy, was he?
Yes, they literally made Nice Pool. Because like Ryan Reynolds,
a caricature of this guy.
Yeah, so that they could make him. Because you remember the lady Deadpool in the movie is who killed him. She was played by Blake Lively. So they killed this like a mockery, a straw man of this guy that they hate. And it's
just no matter how I slice it, like my opinion on him is really soured. So it gets really hard watching movies that he's in. And like I imagine that feeling will go away over time because if there's a lot of people who just suck in Hollywood in general, and you kind of have to to enjoy the media, you kind of have to let go of that fact. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to watch Avengers because Mark Ruffalo is a total loser and an idiot. But I like that movie. It's any movie that's got Mark Hamill in it. Mark Hamill's kind of gone nuts over the years, but I think he's a really good actor. So it's I imagine in 2 years, I'll kind of gotten over my distaste of Ryan Reynolds and I'll be able to watch some movies that he's in again without worrying. But Cool Man's never liked Ryan Reynolds, even before that came out. He's always found him annoying.
Well, it's like after I stopped being a teenager, I did like Ryan Reynolds movies when I was younger, but as I got older, I started being he's just doing the same thing in every movie. And I'm like,
so he's your Rock.
Yeah, he's basically the Rock. I've heard that actually.
He is like the Rock. He's he just doesn't try. He just low efforts. I'm just playing myself in everything. It's one of the reasons why I don't like his Deadpool is that he's just doing Ryan Reynolds. But oops, I'm looking at the camera. Hate it so much.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, look, we'll get off that tangent.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the chat. But yeah, I'm only against debating randos as opposed to if it's a friend who I can actually have a good time with, then I mean. Yeah, would we call it really debate though? I mean, like I was just having a good time with you.
That is a debate,
yeah.
but there's a difference with the debate. A debate's supposed to be more. It can be professional, but it is supposed to be good faith. Two sides genuinely respect each other, and like
you don't
bring
get that
their
on
arguments
YouTube.
and hear the other side out before like they can concede to the other side, or they still walk away feeling what they feel, but they just understand the other perspective a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. But like the debates I get invited to, like there's no attempt to understand. It's just like, we're just gonna fucking knack your ear with stupidity for the next 4 hours, and you're gonna be by the end of it, you're gonna just be like, why did I do that? What was the point of that? What did we accomplish? It's a waste of time. So anyway, I'd rather just let my videos do the talking. That's why I'm spending so much time on this George Lucas video.
Somebody in the chat. It's not that I've never disliked Mark Ruffalo. I just like Norton a lot better as Bruce Banner. But Mark Ruffalo, just over the years, he's just had some really a lot of celebrities have said some really dumb things. Like I love Britney Spears, but she said some genuinely somebody hasn't paid attention in school type of takes. So it's just it is what it is. Like celebrities are just not smart.
No.
They're not. That's why you shouldn't fucking pay attention. I mean, I find the smartest celebrities are the quietest celebrities, the ones that just, you know what I mean, just keep to themselves and
or they're just funny. Like if they're genuinely funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think Chris Hemsworth is.
I like Chris Hemsworth.
He's good.
Chill.
He's chill, and I think he's got. I think he has a lot of really good opinions. I think he just keeps them to himself. I think he just, you know what I mean, like. But anyway, and speaking of
he doesn't feel like he's full of himself either.
He doesn't. No. He seems very humble. Which I mean, if there was ever a celebrity who probably you'd expect to not be humble, it would be Chris Hemsworth. But no, he's the complete opposite. He's Australian, so we carry ourselves well here. So and yeah, I'm a Chris Hemsworth fan. I like it. Anyway, speaking of Canadians though, because we're on the topic of Ryan Reynolds, super chat from Grant. Fun fact: Canadian-born Andrew Duchette, who worked at mainframe entertainment such as Reboot and Beast Wars, Transformers would later work at ILM on the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and the Prequels. Wow, okay.
Wow.
Good for him.
Cool. Good.
Reboot was such a good cartoon. I loved that show.
Oh yeah, and like Reboot and Beast Wars were like
Beast Wars.
Yeah, well, they were groundbreaking for just how much CG animation.
And
was
some of the CG is a bit
it's
awkward
the
to look at.
They aged significantly,
but there was sincere good storytelling in them.
I know nothing about it, so
they're old Toonami shows.
Okay. Well, really? Okay. Well, I should have watched it then. I guess I missed out then. I guess.
Yeah,
they didn't want me watching anime back then.
It was the 90s. Beast Wars is a completely 100% CGI Transformers cartoon, but instead they transform into animals instead of like cars and trucks and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. You're really big on Transformers, aren't you? Like
ever since Transformers 1, I've gone down a rabbit hole of really experiencing the IP again. And I've watched a little bit of it after the Bayformer stuff, but I never deep dived enough. And after Transformers 1, I'm like, I really want to there's 40 years of this franchise and I've really never appreciated it. So I wanted to appreciate it more. So I'm actually now trying to learn more of the history of this franchise. And there's a lot of creative stuff in there. It's very rich in history and lore, almost as much as Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't expect that from
no, you wouldn't, but it's cool.
That is cool. I like IPs with a lot of lore that go into them. Happy 4th indeed. May the 4th. At last we revealed that most of the prequel haters at last will have revenge. Yeah. That's a very classic line that's going around. Another big one that's going around is George Lucas having Mike Stiglaza in a chokehold. That's going
I
around.
love that meme. That's been
good.
going around a lot on Twitter. It's
It
been
has,
really funny.
yeah.
Every time a Gen X or a Boomer like gets angry and be like, "You people only like the prequels because of nostalgia," blah blah. And I see so many people just post that image as a reply to them, and they're like, "Get filtered, old man."
Yeah. I thought Godfather was one of the highest grossing too. I think it is. I think I got to double check that actually. In for milk. Just finished watching Attack of the Clones for the first time in a while. Peak movie. Luke says it's such lies and bullshit. I always love that movie. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Anyway, was that? It is Goku. Yeah, I was like, that's a good DP. Haven't seen The Godfather. Is it good? It's essential viewing if you like movies. You have to watch that. I don't think Coolman's seen it, and that's something.
No, I haven't.
You need to watch The Godfather.
Well, you guys can watch together after you finish Count of Monte Cristo. How about that?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell him that. Yeah, to me, like I just never. No, we'll get to that. But like, I said a while back that like Count of Monte Cristo I saw when I was the 2002 version with Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce, and young Henry Cavill. And Richard fucking Harris too. Good cast. I said that movie kind of traumatized me as a kid. It was kind of really got under my, because it is a pretty mature movie. It's like it's got a lot of very some stuff happens in it.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's a pretty brutal movie. But it's very cleverly done. It's not like gore or anything, but it's
Jurassic
very
Park
well done.
Traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think part of Jurassic. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man also traumatized me because the prick closed up on a spider
when Jurassic Park
you.
came out. I think it was 4.
Oh.
I think it was 4 when Jurassic Park came out. It was either 4 or 5. I can't remember. I was young. I was little.
You're old.
I am old.
You're an oldie but goldie.
I'm older than all of you. but yeah, I always had nightmares, like just as a kid, of the raptors. The kid should say, "Gosh," like always. I always had nightmares about the raptors trying to come and eat me, especially because our house had similar type of door handles.
Oh yeah.
And so it always, every time I would in the middle of the night wake up in a sweat, and I would just stare at my door handle like as if I was gonna see it turn.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then I went to college, and they re-released Jurassic Park, and then I just said, "Oh, I haven't seen that since I was a little kid." I'm like, I should go see it. I love dinosaurs. And then I went to go visit my grandparents, and I had a nightmare about Velociraptors trying to come and eat me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm reliving my trauma.
Yeah. No, Jurassic Park, I definitely see people getting traumatized with that. Like again, just the close up of the spider in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 was enough to traumatize me. Like I had huge arachnophobia after that. Yeah. But Count of Monte Cristo, I was always terrified about, winding up in a prison where no one knows who I am, framed, and just basically in total isolation. And it really freaked me out. I was like, younger than 8, I think, when I saw it. I'm not sure. But it's a pretty brutal movie, but it's well done in that it's for mature audiences, but it's not going to traumatize you with blood and gore and shit like that. Anyway,
any movies that traumatized you as a kid, cool man?
Oh yeah. Batman 1989. When Joker...
That's funny because you're just the biggest Batman guy I know.
But did it traumatize you as in scared you, or traumatized you as in
when Joker fried that one guy?
With the buzzer.
Yeah, and he killed him. Always freaked me the hell out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And as an adult, I hate that movie for entirely separate reasons.
Okay. All right. But anyway,
same reasons he doesn't like the Deadpool movies, guys.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, the Count of Monte Cristo movie, like I said, that freaked me out. I brought it up to Cool Man just randomly in a chat we were having, right? And he said, Count of Monte Cristo, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, I love that movie. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? And then we spoke about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give that another go. Eventually, I got around to rewatching it, and I was like, this movie is one of the best fucking movies ever. I can't believe it took me so long to give it a second chance from when I, watched it when I was so young. But I kind of avoided the plague. So I watched it, and I was like, cool, man, this movie's fucking rules. And then
I'm like, yeah, that's what I told
Yeah.
you.
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, so
shit.
can we finish it? He's been so grumpy. And
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, 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 no,
No,
no,
the 2002 movie.
This is the American version of it.
No, I know. I'm just saying, Cool Man's been so grumpy all week. He's like, he wants to watch this really long movie with me, and we've never got to finish it.
Yeah, but I'm getting to that. So when I was talking to him about, I think we were whatever reason, like I was on Box Office Mojo or something, and I was like, "Oh, cool, man! There's Count of Monte Cristo." And he's like, "What? Is it re-released?" He said, "No. It's a reimagining by a French filmmaker, and it's subtitled. And Count of Monte Cristo is originally
it's a French novel.
It's a French novel by what's his name, Alexandre
Dumas. It's the guy who wrote The Three Musketeers.
Right, yeah, sorry. I forget how to pronounce his name. But yeah, I was like, well, hey, but it's like a 3-hour, like, big epic style version that they've done. You know what I mean? Like, whereas the 2002 version was like your standard, 2-hour, 10-minute movie. This one's like 3 hours. I said, come on, this looks like it could be like a proper epic. Do you want to watch this sometime? And he's like, yeah. So we got around to it about 2 weeks ago. We got through most of it, and then he had to punch out. I wanted to stay and watch it, but
I had to go to bed because I had to work in the morning.
All right, fine. You're forgiven. But yeah, and all week apparently he's waiting to be like, oh, let's go watch Count of Monte Cristo again. And now I've been the one busy, but we still have the last hour to get through. Honestly though, like we really we thought I think the 2002 version so far is better on the whole, like pound for pound. But this new version, I think the beginning of the 2002 version is like leaps and bounds above the French version. But the French version, I think, is doing slightly better actually in terms of the whole revenge aspect of the story, like the second half of the story. But yeah, no, but me and you were really enjoying it, weren't we? It was like, this is actually
it's interesting because I know we talked about this, but after we're done, I definitely want to go back and see how it compares to the book. Because I know there are some things from the book that it cut out that were in the 2002 movie. So
yeah,
it's actually fascinating when you look at the 2002, which had to abridge so much. It cut out and merged different characters just because it's a super long novel. Even this 3-hour movie is cutting out huge swaths of the book. But it's just like, It's interesting to see what they chose to keep, because the 2002 movie, from what I can tell, aside from a few plot points it changed, keeps the spirit of everything while abridging it. They keep all the plot points, but it's like they cut them down to shorter stuff and they condense things. Because as we see in the 2003 or 2024 movie, that there's a lot of stuff that it takes a long time to get to, because of course Dantes is like taking his time to find the opportune moment to get his revenge, but then you have all these other characters involved, and then it's like it's a lot, and honestly, and then you still have an hour to go. Like, that's only what we've seen.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's the whole Count of Monte Cristo story I wanted to tell you guys. Sorry, I should probably get to Jack Skirata's super chat. Thank you, Jack. I've just been up here the whole time. I haven't read it. Went and saw Revenge of the Sith with my friend and our custom gold 501st and Sergeant Appo helmets. Oh, that's cool. Follow that with a rewatch of the Clone Wars finale. Never felt more alive as a Star Wars fan. Wow, that's a good. You love to see it. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After watching Revenge of the Sith, I went back and I cracked open some of the books that I own. I recently I told Anomaly that I managed to find old novelizations of the original trilogy, like original print. One of them is a reprint, but two of them, A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, are original prints. But they're still based off the original scripts for the movies, so none of the ad lib stuff is in there. And it was just like, as soon as I watched Revenge of the Sith, and I'm like, man, I actually feel like I really want to read these again, even though I already started to kind of skim through them after I bought them. But I was just like, really reading them. It was like, I haven't felt this excited about Star Wars. I mean, I got in that crazy mood after watching The Phantom Menace again, but it was like, oh, it's funny. Whenever you watch actual good quality Star Wars, it makes you love the IP again, and you want to actually experience more good quality Star Wars.
When you said you went home and cracked something open, I was like, is she gonna say cracked open a bottle of scotch or something? Like,
no, I don't drink. I mean, I drink water, but
no, I know. I just the way you phrased it, I was like,
I went home and I cracked open an egg, and it was like Revenge of the Sith really made me hungry for protein.
I did have some eggs. I did crack open eggs this morning.
So she did crack open something.
Anyway,
phrase here: you crack open a book. We say it all the time here in America.
Oh, okay, my bad. I forgot you guys are vocabularily challenged. I'm kidding.
You don't get to say that. You're from Australia.
I know Australia is a very we have a less eloquent vocabulary. Anyway, TJ Carr took my uncle to see it for his birthday. I felt like it took me back to 2005, as it should. I'm glad you had a good time. I'll scroll down a bit more now. Sorry, guys. I really have been trying to catch up. You still need to watch Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, as well as rewatch Crystal Skull. Yes, I do. Thank you.
We actually, me and Cool Man, we did go through most of it, except Temple of Doom.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only one. That's the only one we don't like.
Well, I will watch Temple of Doom.
I might go back and watch Temple of Doom again, and see it back with fresher eyes. But I rewatched it when I was a teenager. I of course watched it when I was a kid, and I just remember both times. It's like it's the only movie that George Lucas is that George Lucas has been a part of that I've ever not liked. Just I don't know. I just always feel unpleasant about movie. But Short Round is a great character. Go to character, best character, 10/10. Love Short Round.
Okay, I don't know who Short Round is, but
Short Round's is this little kid sidekick of Indy's. He's
okay.
Did you see Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No.
Okay,
well, I don't watch trash.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
anyway,
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Don't worry, it's actually not that good of a movie.
That kid who played Short Round, he's in that movie. He started getting back into acting.
Yeah, his name is Kehu Kwan. He came back into acting, and he is phenomenal. Like, I am so like he was also in the Goonies. He was the he was the techie Asian kid. I don't remember what his name was.
I forgot his name. It's It's flew out of my head. This is embarrassing. I recently rewatched the Goonies like 2 years ago. I should remember this. Frick.
Data.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll look forward to that when I watch Temple of Doom. Thank you, Legendokai. Appreciate and yes, thank you for being a member.
Willie is worst girl. Marion is best girl.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. I see. Chris Stuckman still believes that the sequel trilogy will be well received in the coming decade. Yeah, right. Well, here's the thing. They need it to be received well, because then it's like, oh, so the prequel love is just like, it doesn't mean the movies are actually good. It just means that but then that means the sequels aren't actually good. That's not an argument. No, but that's my point though. Like, no, but their angle is against the prequels. It's not against Disney. Disney.
I know, but I'm saying by their own metrics, if they think the prequels aren't bad, and if they're saying, well, see, it's only like time will make this like only make people like movies better, so it'll be the same with the sequels. So you're saying the sequels are actually bad then by your own metric?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a metric that works. I'm just saying to them it feels like they kind of circumvent the whole we were wrong about the prequels if people who are being just as mean towards the Disney films, the Disney films become more praised with time. So it's like, oh, we weren't wrong. It's just the typical generational cycle is just coming around, and what do they know? We were right. Yahoo, go us. That's their attitude. That's what I don't like about it. But obviously, it's not going to happen.
I'm seeing people in the chat having very conflicted feelings about Elsa.
Elsa? What's Elsa?
Oh, she's from the Last Crusade. She's the love interest in the Last Crusade Indiana
Jones
movie.
Okay. Sorry.
But she's a Nazi.
Okay, well.
Literally.
Right.
But she's really hot.
She's gorgeous.
Is that the one that Indy puts it to?
If you mean he has sex with her, then yes.
All right, go Indy. He got his. That's all that matters. I wonder when the next Legacy of George Lucas will
Ghost, no chat. You cannot fix her.
Okay. I wonder when the next Legacy of George Lucas will release. Soon, very soon. Working on it. Yeah, it's coming along. I had some technical issues with the files, and I've since sorted that out, so we're firmly back on track. Trust me, no one wants them to come out more than I do, because I want to, much as I enjoy
Y'all
doing
are
it, I want
for a treat.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Still going. Watch Sopranos if you haven't. Yes, cool man. Watch Sopranos if you haven't.
I watched a season and a half of Sopranos, and I did not like it.
It's okay. You played the Yakuza games.
Boo this man, chat. Boo this man.
Look, I tried to stick with
Hey, it's not my favorite, but I do enjoy the Sopranos.
Yeah, the thing is, I just generally don't like a lot of gangster movies and gangster like media because
except
so
the
often,
Yakuza games.
Except the Yakuza games. But the problem is that it typically is 99% of the characters are generally unlikable because they're criminals. But I'm like, and then it's like, okay, I'm like, but I don't like anyone.
I was just throwing tomatoes at you.
I'm sorry, I did not. I did not like The Sopranos. It insisted upon itself.
It insists upon itself.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got to halfway through season 2, and I'm like, I have no investment in any of these characters. So I just stopped watching it.
Ghost is still throwing tomatoes at you.
I'm up to the part where we were talking about gaming and like how gaming ended in 2008. I'm like, yes, no, maybe. Oh, here we go. Nerdy, how are you? She's probably left the chat by now. But I'm glad she's here. She's
It's okay. I told you already back then to say hello. You already did, so she heard.
I did, yeah. I feel hated Snow White, yeah. We know. What we got here. December is TFA's 10th, and it won't even get a release. It might get a release, but like
I doubt it's gonna get a re-release this year.
I mean,
I could be wrong, but I don't.
I would like to see those numbers. I would really like.
I would be very curious. I would be, but I wonder if they'll wait for the 15th.
Maybe
they still got to release those Ray sequels. Where are they at, Disney?
Yeah, Ryan Johnson's trilogy. Where are they?
Oh yeah, the Taika Waititi ones.
Yeah. Thank you, Doll Life. I appreciate it. Total prequel domination. Damn straight.
Complete.
The original Snow White is wonderful. I still got to watch. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I still got to watch it. Okay, I think we're making some ground now in terms of the chat. Not to mention, what was the things? Love and Blunder was a dumpster fire. Yeah. I've told the story before, but like my work friends wanted to go see it, and I was like, no, you don't. You want to see Top Gun
Maverick.
And I've seen Top Gun Maverick like twice at that point. I was like, I'll go see Top Gun Maverick a third fucking time if it means we don't have to see Thor: Love and Thunder once. And like, no, we're gonna see
the screaming goats, Noms.
Oh god, the fucking goats. But when I walked out of the theater with them and they were like in shambles, I was like, well, I liked it. What did everyone else think? I was a real
liar.
I didn't like scold the movie. I was kind of like what was I going to say? Yeah, I didn't want to be a smug prick at the end of it. I was kind of like, what did you guys think? And they're like, nah. And I was like, what about you? And like, nah. I was like, what about you? It's like, I fucking hated it. And I was like, nah. So yeah. I'm gonna keep scrolling just so I can love to see me collab with JJ Plagiarisms. I'm not against it. I like the guy. I haven't been very active. That's all.
Well, he's in the Discord.
He's in the Discord, and I wish him well. He does good work. Man. Marsha was an editor on episode 5. She didn't want to be credited because she didn't want to be associated with a movie that ultimately ruined their marriage. I don't know how true that is. I mean, maybe
I never heard that. I know the original cut made her cry.
I don't know
No,
how
the one
true that
before-
is either, because that was from an article.
No,
that's
the one that
since been
said that
removed.
George was really angry at the original cut and it made Marcia
Yeah,
cry, and then before they had to
that was
fix
from
the movie.
that was from an article that was from when I saw that was nowhere in Rinslow's book. That was from an article that has since been removed, so maybe it wasn't accurate. I'd be very curious how they got that story though, but it wouldn't have surprised me. And in defense of Kirshner,
Well, it's just interesting because remember, all these other people that say so-and-so saved A New Hope in the edit. And I'm like, I find it very curious then that Lucas and Marcia were so disappointed in Empire Strikes Back original cut to the point that they needed to save it at the edit. It's just very interesting to see an article like that. Sure, it's disappeared, but hey,
Yeah,
curious.
no, I still have the record of the article. I just don't, you couldn't search for it now because I think Screen Rant took it down. I wanted to search for it out because I wanted to see what source they freaking used, but it's to the ether now, I guess. Dollar Dan, thank you again for the super chat. I was introduced to Star Wars in 1993 with the VHS release and the 1997 special edition and theater release. Still have the prequels, though, even though they weren't my first. Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad I hope you had a good time with those. Hang on. Grant. That young Jedi who got shot in front of Bale was like George Lucas is so ruthless. He killed his own son on screen.
I'm telling you, I bet you that kid wanted that. He's like, Dad, let me go out like a baller.
I reckon he did too. It was probably like, I want to go down killing troops as a Jedi.
Goes down in a blaze of glory. He's like, let me be a warrior, father. And he's like, very well said.
Yeah. Yes. Like, all right, fair enough.
The boys yearn for battle.
Yeah. The boy has no patience. He will learn patience. Get shot.
I mean, hey, he got to do a cool little flip, get a couple of hits before he goes down. He did go down like a baller.
And this guy, Simon Pegg, is also a male feminist. Another reason not to like him. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he was an absolute beta. Like
there's
the
no
worst
such
kind.
thing as a good male feminist. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Okay.
All of them are either idiots or losers or predators.
All right.
Statistically, I have never been proven wrong on that claim.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. They probably haven't heard it here first. Anyway.
No, there's memes about it. There is memes about it.
Right, yeah. But I don't know, like, Simon Pegg's, like, personal, like, where he is on that kind of spectrum, we'll call it. Anyway. There are starving children in Africa. Does someone want to fill me in on that?
Man, tell it.
Oh,
yeah. Like, wasn't that the Kenobi?
The Kenobi cope. The Kenobi cope.
Right, because you talked about that they were shilling Kenobi. They were so angry that people were criticizing it that they were like, why do you care about this? There are starving children in Africa.
Like, yeah, there's more important things like starving children in Africa.
Oh, God.
And it's just like, you built your career!
People were like, why do you care about X? Starving children in
Africa? Oh, no. I was wrong. It wasn't Kenobi. It was the Acolyte.
Oh,
even
God.
Worse show.
That's even worse. Oh, Lord.
Which, again, they're like, why are you criticizing Star Wars? You'd be like, why are you criticizing Star Wars? It's your brand.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of people who went back at them at like they're like, why are you criticizing the prequels? They're starving children in Africa.
You love to see it. Love to see it. The worth is healed. The earth is. There's actually
with the world.
You know what? I'll keep it to myself. There's actually a funny clip from a disaster movie that I might use now for my George Lucas video. It's you'll know it when you see it, because I all the drafts I have for the videos I make, I always run them past Coolman and Angel first. So for those who say I can't take criticism, and there isn't many, but some people do, so you can't be critical. Yes, I can. These two roast the shit out of me on a daily basis. You kidding?
Loving, affectionate manner.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it all comes from love.
It's cool what I say. We just said this yesterday when we hung out. We said Anomaly will look at other people and he'll go cunt derogatory, and then he'll look at me and cool man cunt affectionate.
we have learned to decipher the Australian code.
Okay, we're getting close to the or maybe we are. I don't know, where are we up to? Unchallenged Mediocrity. What's up, Mad Lads? What's up with you? Good to see you. He was gone for a while, but now he's back because he had like I think it was a cultural pilgrimage he went on or something. He told me he's back now.
Good for you.
You could not live with other YouTubers. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Back to me.
I'm aware I am more so mean. Wait. Oh, I am aware I'm more so mean. Prequel haters don't bring up why they do. Oh, right. This is in regards to the Marsha Lucas thing. Yeah, of course they don't, because that makes Marsha, their fucking goddess, their savior, look like an absolute C word.
It's almost like Lucas and Marsha are human beings, and neither one of them are gods.
Yeah, but only
and
one
maybe
of them...
you should stop putting certain people on pedestals. And also, like, you do realize there were other editors too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they don't mention Paul Hirsch and Richard Chew. But I mean, at the end of the day, George made the movie. George made the money, and she...
Well, they are George's babies.
Yeah, they're George's babies, and she got probably one of the most lucrative divorce settlements in the history of time. Like, like she never had to work another day in her life. She probably had one of the most privileged fucking existences.
Well, and I'm sure there's also royalties that she gets from
probably
edit the movies.
Yeah, probably is. But yeah, no, but like the important thing is that George found happiness after all that. I mean, honestly, like as far as Marsha Lucas goes, like I'm not fond of her. Like no matter how I slice it, like she does not look good in terms of how the divorce went down. But George raised, I think, 3 kids on his own. Continued filmmaking, produced many films, helped advance technology, helped give us Jurassic Park. Like he had a huge hand in that.
And by all accounts, it seems he's much happier in his current marriage right now.
And he's much happier now with his, and he's opening a museum, a huge one soon in Los Angeles. You lucky fucks can just drive there. I have to catch a plane. I really want to go. If I ever go to America, I'm going to go to see the Lucas Museum of Natural. I think
come hang out with us, and then we can all go together.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
You're from Texas. No, there's a language barrier. You're from Texas.
I'm sorry, I can't understand your accent.
No. That line I said, like, there's a language, like, that's from Hell's Kitchen. He's like, chef, there's a language better. It's like, what are you talking about? He's speaking English, you twit. It's like, I know, but he's from Texas. And then Gordon Ramsay almost laughed his ass off. He has to like hold back his laughter. Yeah, the real ones know. Dol, thank you again for the super chat. You're very, very generous. Thank all of you for the lovely donations and the supports, and glad we're keeping your attention. I'm sorry, I already answered this one. Oh, well, we'll get to this one then. The young Jedi who got you
already got this one.
Wow, sorry, I didn't know I went backwards. How'd that go?
We're evolving, but backwards.
Oh wow, okay. This big one from Grant. Thank you, Grant. Really, really appreciate that. Charlie, take notes. No. I'm joking, Charlie. I'm joking. Thank you so much, Grant. I appreciate the support, mate. That CGI rabbit baboons moment in your Gladiator 2 review gave me deja vu when I was reading the production notes from Venom 1981, and the author of the notes said, thinks filming a deadly black mamba snake is more real and convincing than today's CGI. Why? Yeah, I agree. I think like you can do CGI, and I don't like the you see CGI on the screen, it's CGI, you immediately it's such a boomer take that like, oh well, it's CGI, ergo I don't find it convincing. It's like, no,
which is not true because of Jurassic Park. Now, granted, That's because they utilize a lot of technology. They use some CGI and some practical. And then for certain scenes, it was CGI for what they knew that the animatronics couldn't do. Or like certain like puppetry couldn't do, then they would use CGI. But they would blend the scenes together and edit the scenes so well that sometimes it's hard to tell when it was CGI and when it was the animatronic. And they also made sure to do specific lighting. And the same with the Balrog. The Balrog CGI, but I think it still looks pretty good because it's also in this really dark lighting. So it kind of goes back to that Steven Spielberg philosophy of sometimes less is more. You got to know when to play your cards right and when to use each cards. When I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think it was really like the special effects for Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think is really good because they utilized both. But they also filmed the CGI in a very specific way. They slowed down the frame rate for certain scenes. So that way it moved similarly to the way the practical effect did. That way, when the cuts to when an animatronic was going versus when the CGI was going, you couldn't tell which was what because they made sure the frame rate matched.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah, like you know, I mean, I said it for Gladiator 2. Like, I think the CGI was fine mostly, and people were like, well, it's not anatomically correct, or you know, baboons or creatures don't behave like this, and it's like Rome and also in Gladiator has always been like what's the word I'm looking for? Not romanticized, like overdone. It's overdone because you know there are how many stories and legends about ancient Rome, and when you get down to the nitty gritty of Gladiator, like gladiators. I've heard someone use the term like WWE. They compare it to WWE. That's not too far off for how gladiators were used. Slaves, sure, I think slaves fought to the death more, but it wasn't nearly as over the top.
It wasn't a fraction as brutal as a lot of media portrays. It's not like every time they fought, one died, because they were basically athletes and they would spend a lot of money training them, feeding them, getting them equipment. So if they died, then that means they lost their investment, which is something that sometimes media will kind of poke fun at. But I'm like, yeah, they don't want them to die. It's just sometimes. And the times when they did die was usually because they had a pretty particular like emperor. But like even then, that was pretty rare. Even some of the more debaucherous emperors weren't just having everyone die, because then they would run out of people to be gladiators, and no one would choose to go into fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, so yeah, but like in terms of the CGI in that movie and others as well, like when people see CGI and they're like, well, the CGI was like, I just know ahead of time, and it's like I know the criticisms are gonna be the CGI is bad. Why? Because they used CGI, and they know it's CGI.
Like the Thor: Love and Thunder CGI is bad because it is actually bad. It's not just because it's just CGI.
It literally was rushed. The CGI guys.
Well, yeah, and the other problem is they like treat their CGI artists terribly, and so there's that too.
You know what it reminds me of? This, and a lot of like would-be wannabe fucking filmmakers and critics say, well, the CGI, they'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and then they'll act like they're all fucking intellectually superior and be like, well, the CGI is the part because but really what they mean is like, I noticed the CGI, look at how smart I am, because it's like,
but did you notice the CGI, or did some YouTuber notice the CGI?
No, but
and you're parroting their opinion.
Well, that too, that's exactly right. But my point is that this, and it largely began with the prequels, I'll say, like the whole CGI bad criticism, which is, you know, not dying a hard enough death, but I think we are getting there, you know, slowly but surely. It came from this boomer fucking mentality from the Star Wars prequels, and
it carried over to a lot of films. Unfortunately, Crystal Skull got that.
Well, also,
people were still in there. I hate George Lucas phase. I hate CGI phase.
The special editions too, I think, probably kind of lit the powder keg, and then the prequels kind of, well, I think the special editions kind of filled the powder keg, and the prequels lit it. Would be more accurate.
Yeah,
but my point is, no, but let me finish. Sorry. It's a very old school kind of, you know, this is new. I don't like this. I don't connect with this. You know, old school boomer mentality, vacuous, shitty ass fucking criticism. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the fucking DataDOS criticism of gaming is bad, gaming isn't art, gaming is for losers, gaming creates, criminals. That fucking mentality. That's every time
another
I hear
bad Matt Walsh take.
Sorry?
Matt Walsh has terrible takes about video games. He thinks it makes you losers and blah 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 blah.
I mean, I was telling this.
That's why I say he's never had a good media take. All of his media takes are bad. Matt Walsh is an idiot. Don't listen to him.
Well, I was talking to him about his terrible Revenge of the Sith video, and then Coolman's like, he's very boomer appealing. Like he acts like a boomer, but he's not even 40. And I said, he's not
50. A boomer, but he's got the brain of a boomer. He talks to the boomers.
I know, but I was like, he looks like he's 50 years fucking old.
I know he's trying to look like the boomers because he wants to appeal to them.
Right. Well, his Revenge. I mean, I was surprised we didn't get asked to cover it, but it's like, I left the comment saying like, if you don't want to have to throw a hissy fit about Star Wars fans not agreeing with you, maybe you should come up with better fucking arguments than why is General Grievous coughing as if. And then it's like, well, I don't want to read the lore. I don't need to know about the lore. I need to know in the movie. And it's like, you don't have to fucking know it all. He's coughing. Deal with it. What the fuck? Well,
he's clearly a cyborg.
Yeah,
no, you can tell that like in his fight with Obi-Wan when you clearly see. Well, I mean, look at his eyes. There's clearly biologically organic eyes behind that metal face.
Right. No, fair enough. That's
fine. Matt Walsh even said that the fight scenes were bad, and he's like, the choreography was terrible.
It's like,
he of course cites the Palpatine versus 4 Jedi. It's like, let's get fucking 63-year-old Ian McDiarmid to go around like hating
Christians. Yeah, that's a little awkward, but I'm like, but you're
there's
also
no way
ignoring...
you can get a 60-year-old man to look natural.
It's
fighting.
weak sauce. It is weak sauce. But if anything, but I always counter that with like, it looks a bit awkward, but that's just how good Palpatine is. He took out half the Jedi Council instantly, and the only one that could hold.
Well, the other thing about the coughing with Grievous, he's ignoring that he needs to watch all the prequels to get a hint at what they were going for with each iconic villain in all of them. Yeah, Maul, Dooku, and Grievous was all to echo what Anakin's about to become.
Well, look. I think
Maul is the raw power and hatred of Vader. Dooku is the fallen Jedi, and Grievous is the cyborg. They're all a piece of Vader. It's literally foreshadowing. Each and every one of them is foreshadowing what Anakin's going to become.
You know what I found out actually today, kind of got brought to my attention, was when Anakin turns around and he has like the yellow eyes. The way he's looking at the camera, or like kind of towards the camera, is basically the same way Maul is looking at Sidious in episode 1, where he says at last we will have revenge. And I was like, fuck, that's a good pickup. Like, dang, I forget who brought that to my attention, but I was like, fuck, that's because Maul has the yellow eyes there too. And I'm like,
well, Palpatine.
That is a brilliant echo right there of Anakin's fall, and where we started with Maul as Sidious's apprentice. You know what I mean? Like that's God, I love Star Wars. I fucking love Star Wars. That's all I have to say.
Lucas is awesome. He's a real G.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt Walsh. Never listen to Matt Walsh.
I don't. He's a boomer. I was only. Well, he's a wannabe boomer.
He's a boomer at heart.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't until someone shared his really awful Revenge of the Sith video, and I tortured myself.
I never tortured myself with that. I just read his terrible tweets.
Well, he was also like just trying to regurgitate that. Like,
I just said, yeah, Matt Walsh having a bad media take. What else is new? Anyway,
well, it's like he just regurgitated like, don't we all hate these things? Why do we pretend these are good? Like, do we have to?
Why don't you ask your kids, Matt, since they all liked it?
Yeah. Did they actually?
Yeah, his kids. He. That's what he talked about in his tweets. Like he hates the fact that also that his children loved the movie, and they only went to go see it because his children want to see it. And I'm like, maybe talk to your kids and ask why they liked it so much.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually. This one, I like this comment because it's basically like what the sequel to the Disney film Defenders might resort to. But Seinfeld was also about nothing, so it's okay, A-okay. It's okay. It's something with
What's this movie about? Nothing.
We are getting close to the closer to the John McKinney. What do you think of the Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt? It's criminally underrated. Thank you for the super chat. First off, I haven't watched it. I'm sorry.
I'm afraid I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. It sucks though because I really wish I could answer your super chat, but I can't.
I know Emily Blunt is a great actress, and so is Matt Damon.
I haven't heard bad things about it. That's all I can say. Like,
I haven't even heard of it.
Well, I have heard of it, and I've seen it around. I just never got around to watching it. But thank you very much for the super chat. Wasn't Count of Monte Cristo movie inaccurate? Depends when you're talking about. The 2002 version we were talking about in the comment was definitely streamlined, but like it's definitely a very good movie, and a lot of that is still present in the French version. So I don't imagine how it could have been that fucking inaccurate. NOMZ, thank you, Grant, again. NOMZ, I too have arachnophobia, and I am also a Spider-Man fan. Normal spiders are okay, but tarantulas, yikes. Can't stand looking at them. I can't even stand looking at them in movies, let alone like up close.
Spiders
like,
should not be that big or furry.
It's like, why did God have to put something so scary and...
Because they have to kill certain other vermin.
I know. I was like, couldn't you have made the food chain a little less scary, please?
Because tarantulas were all actually created in his factory that he made in Australia, but he unleashed that specifically tarantulas on the rest of the world. He's like, now for the rest of these freaks of nature, you're staying on Australia.
Yeah, it's like
Komodo dragons in particular, you stay on Australia.
Dumas outdid himself with that tale. It's very introspective. I think he's talking about the Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah, well, I mean, I love it. I feel really bad that I slept on it for like 20 plus years when I saw it when I was a kid, and it's an outstanding revenge story. And that's just the adaptation. I imagine the book, and I've heard the book is much darker and incredible. So I would really like to read it sometime. Elsa in The Last Crusade is the hottest. I like blondes. I'm not a fan.
I'm sure Indy had to say that to himself after he pounded her.
Oh, wait, hang on.
I like blondes too, but like, to
be fair, she wasn't down with a lot of the stuff the Nazis were doing. She was just interested in like all the other like research and stuff like that.
Oh, wait, cool, man. His name is Edmund Christo. I just realized. Dantes. There you go.
Was that always his name, or did he change his name?
You can't fix it on. Let's see. F. Elsa, marry Marion, kill Willie. Who's Willie?
Agreed. Willie's the love interest from Temple of Doom. Oh, I hate her. She's so annoying.
She is universally hated.
She's such an annoying love interest.
I look forward to that.
Marion is the best, though. I love Marion.
Pretty sure Marion is Australian, the actress. So yeah,
I love her. She's the best girl ever, and they all agree that she's the best girl ever because they're married by the end.
Yeah, by the end, exactly. I like how you said that. To be fair, the characters in the Yakuza games are generally unlikable. I don't really know where the origins of that came from.
When you guys were talking about Godfather, people were joking about the fact that Cool Man only likes gangster games and not like gangster movies. He's just like, well, I like the Yakuza characters. To be fair, I love the Yakuza games though. They're fun.
It's just Godfather wannabe crap. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. I don't know. My cousin adores the Yakuza. I'm not going to shit on it. I just like I said, stirring the both of you is like one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah. So, Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of the first game, is available on the Switch for $20.
And they're gonna have Yakuza 0, the prequel.
Yeah, a director's cut version.
Director's cut with new cutscenes. I'm so excited! Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Fairy Tale versus DBZ. Which thing is a better show?
They're completely different.
Well, look, I mean, yeah, but he's just asking me what I think.
I mean, they are both shonen. I guess you could compare it that way.
Well, look, I think Fairy Tail makes much better use of its characters, but like I think Dragon Ball is the better story. Like,
well, like
on the
all
whole.
shonen would not be as it is today without Dragon Ball. If Dragon Ball never existed, every shonen that you've ever liked, even certain Western cartoons you've ever liked, a lot of them would be very different had not Toriyama ever existed. So many people like have been inspired by Toriyama that it's insane. Like after he passed away, sadly, like there's so many things that came out like that I didn't even realize certain people were inspired by Toriyama. Like even in the West and like in other industries, Nintendo was inspired by Toriyama. Mario's little hat with the wings.
Yeah.
That was inspired by Arale from Dr. Slump that Toriyama made.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go. And Toriyama was also inspired by Western media too. Let's not forget.
Well, no, I know, but my point is like Japan in general, like there's like certain creators where like it would not be the same without them. Like,
agreed.
Agreed. Even the classic Sonic logo was actually inspired by the Arale logo.
Yeah, like so like Toriyama, like if Toriyama never existed, and like it would be a very drastically different world for like the dominoes. It's amazing where you don't know like how far the dominoes will like fall in terms of like who influences who, and then it's quite incredible. So yeah, like Fairy Tail would be you don't know if it would exist or it would be drastically different if it wasn't for Toriyama. Because let's face it, every single shonen in existence all say I read Dragon Ball when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like all of them have said that.
Definitely, Fairy Tail was definitely someone inspired by Dragon Ball to some extent. Yeah, absolutely. Unchallenged Mediocrity. Do you know how many times you've seen Revenge of the Sith? It's probably the Star Wars movie I've watched second most times. I think I've watched The Phantom Menace the most. Oh, actually, that's not true. Probably the third most times because I wore out Attack of the Clones on VHS when I was little. And
Yay!
I didn't. Yeah, okay. So yeah. Alrighty. So I think hang on. Lewis. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. We're up to the part where Red Letter Media said there are small children in Africa. There's only 6 Star Wars movie. That's it. Yeah, damn straight. Jaden Lopez, good to see you, man. I haven't watched Andor.
Coleman and I watched season 1.
Season
it's
1
not
was pretty
perfect,
good.
but it was like the first time out of anything out of
Disney Star Wars.
We actually like didn't hate it. We were like surprised by how much we didn't hate it.
Okay.
We actually enjoyed quite a bit of it. There's still some parts. It's not perfect. There are some parts of it. I would say that you could have like put it in any other like aesthetics, like in like scenery and technology, and you could say that could be any other sci-fi. There's a couple of scenes where I'm like, this could just be any sci-fi. I don't really see Star Wars in this scene. But then there are other scenes where it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely Star Wars.
Yeah, and it for the first time it actually explores like when they reference the regional governors and stuff in A New Hope, they actually show you regional imperial like soldiers and like what are they like on this random planet that the Empire doesn't actually go by.
The
like,
region of the governors. Now
yeah, guys, I see you in the chat. I've heard mixed things about season 2 so far. I'm waiting till it's ended. I'll still try to give it a chance.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to because I've heard mixed things, good and bad. I'm like, okay, it's possible that it screwed up, or
it could just be a mixed bag. And then I'll just have to say, okay, well then. Fine, I can just ignore the show and still only like Rogue One then, and that's the case if season 2 ruins season 1, whatever. I'll just say, like, when I watched season 1 with Cool Man, like when we watched it, we were genuinely surprised that like we actually were enjoying ourselves watching it at some parts. Like I said, it's not perfect. It does have parts where I genuinely would say, yeah, you kind of feel like any other sci-fi in this scene, but then there are other scenes where I'm like, no, this was genuinely good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll get around to it eventually. No, I'm telling you, going to be streaming for tonight. Good question. While we've still got you, actually, guys, there is something we wanted to. Well, it's actually not for me to say, but there is something of an announcement that
I've come to make an announcement.
Yeah,
Shadow the Hedgehog. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
so in February, guys, now some of you already know this because you're in Cool Man server. In February, change happened. Cool Man and I are dating.
Yep.
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
I know there's a lot of people who are probably like, wait,
Now
you
I know
weren't
there's
already?
some of you going to be like, wait, you two aren't already dating? No, we weren't. We've really just only been friends, like literally this whole time for a very long time. But no, yeah, we're finally dating. And some of you are going to be like, finally! And then others you could be like, congratulations! So yeah. We've got all these reactions. We got all those before in Cool Man's channel.
And do you want to tell them how that came to? Because you were talking
well,
to me
I was
about
asking
it
Anomaly,
before.
how do I rizz up a man in DMs?
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't want to tip off Cool Man for what Angel was trying to do, but I was like, okay.
But you did yell at him to get to bring me a gift.
Oh, I was like, hey, if she's taking you out for because like basically what we settled on was don't go too over the top, but you want to make it so that like he gets the message, but isn't like kind of like, oh, this is a bit much. You got it, like just a nice dinner.
Yeah, I took him to a nice dinner, and it was a nice dinner. Did you like it, Cool Man?
It was meat.
It was a lot.
Yeah, he was like raving to me about it. I was like, oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, it's this Brazilian place. It's got like basically where the waiters come to you and they just slice off a piece of meat on your plate, and they just keep coming and they just serving you different like helpings of meat. And then at one point, to cleanse your palate, they give you a slice of they basically that they've burnt
cooked pineapple,
and it's really delicious. It was so I took them to basically a nice little Valentine dinner date thing to be like, hey, we're both single, so let's celebrate the night as if a couple. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
even I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And then I gave him a card, and I had all my feelings on the card, and I told him to open it and give me his answer the next morning because it was late at night.
Did you sleep that night? I'm just curious.
I did sleep that night. I slept good.
Okay, I figured you would.
Because I was like, I did it. I was brave. I did it.
I was
but like Anomaly was like messaging me like while I was on the date with Cool Man. He's just like, "How'd you take it?" And I was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, I was like,
shut up.
I need the date. Come on.
Yeah,
and the time zones are all fucked. So I was like, is it over yet? Did you tell him? What's happening?
And like a day later, Anomaly messages me. He says, "Hey," I say, "Hey," and he goes, "You sound awfully chipper. Did something good happen over the weekend?" And I was like, I literally was just like, I know what he knows. I'm gonna troll him. So
you did. You kept me on the hook, you prick.
Hey, you came on way too strong.
Listen, I've been honestly, Cool Man, for literally the past year. I'm not even kidding, Cool Man. For the past year, I've been asking Anomaly for advice, and how much has been driving me crazy.
Yeah. Just looking out for you, bro.
Thanks, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, well, you're welcome, bro. Friggin' took you long enough.
I appreciate you helping me, bro.
Yeah, well, hey, and by the way, I also said to Angel, it's like, okay, you can do all this stuff and write the card and do all that, blah, blah, blah. But I said, make sure you don't rock up wearing like Ugg boots and sweats. Like, you got to wear something that's going to, and to any women out there, you might find this helpful.
Well, I was planning on like a simple, like cute but casual outfit. And I'm just like, well, I'm not going to wear that Anomaly because I wear like tomboyish attire all the time. But that was also me also trying to drop hints to him because I know he's got a thing for tomboys and he also loves girls wearing ponytails. And I am not even kidding. For 2 years straight, when we hang out, I wear a ponytail every day. And he's like, they're like, was she trying to? Nah.
Yeah, literally. And I was like, it's probably just a coincidence.
Right. But I was just like, obviously, I was like, don't dress like a slut or anything. Not that you would, obviously, but I was like,
what do you take me for?
I know, but like, I'm just saying, like, you gotta, and this again, just for anyone else out there, if you're trying to get a guy's attention, the easiest way to do it is to wear something you wouldn't normally wear. Something that kind of catches their eye more. And it's like, just do that. You know what I mean? I don't know what you ended up going with, but like, obviously it worked because
in Cool Man's defense, he's also dropped me hints, and I was always like, does he like me or does he just think of me as a friend? I'm so confused.
What hints did he drop? I want to hear this.
Like we're
like
literally.
I'll show him a video on my phone, and he'll like lay his head on my shoulder, and I'm like, is he trying to hit on me, or is he trying to get a good view? Because he'll also call me just like, oh, you're like my best friend forever. And I'm just like, I don't know, does he like me or not? And my cousin literally is like, the guy drives like 40 minutes every Saturday to come see you. Most men don't do that unless they really like you.
I can attest to that. I do that to see my missus.
We were literally that meme of, are they lovers? No, worse. They're
idiots.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, yeah, no. It's so, you know, it's really cool seeing, you know, two of your good friends, you know, who obviously have a thing for each other, finally getting together. It's just, you know, I'm glad you guys could.
Anomaly's on the sideline trying to triangulate these two idiots.
Oh fuck! I've been trying to steer you guys together for fucking ages. But I didn't want to overstep because I didn't want, you know, to like, you know.
No, I mean,
like,
I came to you. I asked you. I even said,
you did, yeah.
I said, is there any way you could talk to him and subtly see like what he thinks of me?
Yeah, no, I did a few times. I did a few times, and I was kind of like, yo, so, you know, you see this girl every week, and you guys are like besties. You know, kind of like nudge. Like, wouldn't that, you know, come on. I forget what I said, but like, you know, I was trying to nudge him, and he was kind of like still, you know, still not giving me anything. I was like, dude, give me something here. Like,
that's what I was dealing with. But to be fair, like I kind of gave him mixed signals too. So like that's also my bad. But it's so funny because Cool Man then sent me a video of what his mom's reaction was, and his mom's just like, finally, it's about time.
Right? Yeah. And me and Cool Man were talking about this just before you joined. It's like, I was like, so how's you and your girlfriend going? And he's like, yeah, we're good. And I'm like, and he's like, you know, the best part is, I'm like, what? And I was like, and he was like, we don't have to do all the awkward first date crap. And I was like, fucking right, you don't. That's what I've been freaking telling you to freaking go.
Yeah, no, we've known each other for 10 years. It makes things really easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fantastic news. I mean, look, we got Star Wars
He's so
Day.
adorable. He'll send me texts after, like, we hang out. He's just like, oh, I loved hugging you. I'm like, he's so freaking cute. I can't stand it.
That's
this is why, see, this is what I mean. George understands women. Attack of the Clones. Guys and girls are awkward, and they're adorable together being awkward, okay?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just the way couples are, I guess. Yeah, it's just how it is. Yeah, like, you know, it's Star Wars Day. It's Revenge of the Sith here in Australia. Revenge of the Sith is kicking ass. Prequel fans are out in force, and you know, two of your good friends get together. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to celebrate. So,
Chat, I told Anomaly this already privately, but whenever me and Cool Man went and saw Revenge of the Sith again, the re-release, right whenever it got to the balcony scene, you know, like they're like, "Oh, I'm so in love." It was like, "So love is blind." That whole scene. I whispered to Cool Man. I said, "Just so you know, the way to my heart is not murdering children."
And I promise not to murder children.
He's like, I promise I will not murder children. But yeah, chat, that's us. We've been dating since February. February 16th is when we made it official.
Yep.
16th?
Yeah, February 16th, because we went on the date on the 15th. Because if Valentine's Day itself was on Friday, but neither of us could hang out Friday. We hung out Saturday.
Well, that's good. No, like, again, and so wait, you guys are coming up on 3-ish months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about to celebrate his birthday, Coleman's birthday soon.
Yep.
Wow, yeah, okay. He's turning 47.
I'm older than him, so do not put an age that's way older than me.
Yeah.
Well, they yeah. Okay, so you're 47 then. He's 40.
No! I'm 35!
Okay, wow. Okay.
Don't put those extra years on me. I want to enjoy my 30s while I can.
I was joking. God, I'm looking at these Matt Walsh comments now. Matt Walsh is culture war newbie. Matt
Walsh is an idiot.
For his Sonic 3 review. I know nothing about Sonic 3, but that's interesting. How wonderful the mind of a child is. I don't know if that's from Matt Walsh.
No, that's Yoda.
No, I know, but like I don't know if he's quoting that for.
He's probably talking about since we were talking about Matt Walsh, because I said his kids like the movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that explains. Matt Walsh, sociopath, generally sorry for his kids. We'll go that
I don't know about sociopath, but he definitely has some weird takes.
Well, I mean, I'm glad I don't really pay attention to him. Grant, anyone missed actual teasers plus VFX / shooting special shoots teasers like T2, JP, The Thing, ID4,
Jurassic
Misery,
Park.
And my favorite one is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
So I guess ID4.
Indiana Jones 4, I think. No. No, what's ID4 again?
Can someone in the chat help us with this? I'm trying to think.
Grant, you're still in the chat, I'm sure. What's ID4? But yeah, Total Recall, prequel trilogy, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Well, I don't know too much about all that. Like, we talking about like
actual teasers, real good teasers.
Oh, like yeah.
Independence Day. Oh, I don't call it ID4 because I just call it Independence Day. But I get it because it's July 4th. Yeah, I get it. I get it now.
Gosh, I mean that movie probably deserved a really good sequel. It's a shame we didn't get it because I mean, granted, not having Will Smith was a plus, but like that other guy they put in there was not the way to go. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, it's so funny. Whenever I went and saw the sequel to Independence Day, I went on a date with my older brother's roommate, and well, I was starting to feel a tickle in my throat. And then after that, like that day, I got like the worst, like sinus throat type of like thing that has ever happened, to the point where I lost my voice. Like I actually lost my voice trying to talk really hurt. I was like actually coughing up like blood in my mucus. It was really bad. I found out I got like 3 different things, like sinusitis, laryngitis, and bronchitis all in one. I somehow got the cocktail of all these sicknesses. I look back on it saying that movie gave me that. It happened right after I watched that movie. Coincidence? I think not.
Grant, thank you for the super chat, mate. Sorry, let's get on to more of the chat. We're nearly caught up, I think. We're doing all right. I hope I haven't missed any chats. Toriyama would have been 70 right now. Rest in peace,
God rest
Toriyama.
his soul.
That was a man right there.
I think one of my favorite comments is,
"You're a dude. This is a man."
Yeah, Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, he had a really beautiful like message to Toriyama, and what he said is, "May heaven be as beautiful as you envisioned it."
That's right. Yeah, no, it's a good post. Yeah, good on him. Even though we're talking about Oda, right?
Yeah, Oda, because Oda really adored Toriyama.
I know his work is about as copy and paste.
It's okay.
I'm kidding.
Don't
I'm joking.
diss Oda. Like that's like him and Toriyama became best friends.
No, I know. But like, you gotta understand, like I always, like without fail, every time.
Yeah, don't say that though, because a lot of Zoomers like One Piece. They'll lynch you.
No, I know. But like every time Mrs. NOMZ brings up One Piece, which is like her favorite thing ever, she adores One Piece, and she's like, she even bought me a shirt that says One Piece on it. It was too big. It was like, I was like, you know, I'm talking, when I say it was too big, I mean it was like 5 sizes too big. And then I tried to find a smaller version, and those weren't shirts. Those are like ponchos. I don't know what the hell the shirt line was thinking. Anyway.
She wanted you to be a Skywalker. All the best Skywalkers wear ponchos, like Anakin and Luke.
Right. But like, even when she got me the shirt for Christmas, she's like, One Piece shirt, here you go. Merry Christmas. And I was like, thanks, but I don't wear Dragon Ball ripoff merchandise. And then she took a swing at me. She was like, I was like, I'm joking. But yeah. Look, we got all these congratulations for you guys in here. Congratulations, you two.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Weren't you already an item? Yeah.
We've gotten quite a few of those comments to us. They're like, wait, I thought you two already were
dating. Yeah. Congratulations. skip that comment. You and Angel deserve to be together. About time, man. I'm with you there, Zan. You two deserve each other. Yeah,
guys.
One is just as insufferable as the other, so I agree with you.
First of all, we've been like this always, Anomaly. Nothing's changed.
I'm joking.
The only thing that's changed is like where we cuddle. Like that's literally the only difference.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Sorry, I'll swing it. It's a Grant, man. You gotta call it with the chats, man. You gotta think of your food goes on your plate first, not mine. I've watched Mobile Suit Gundam, theatrical recuts, and Cowboy Bebop '98 for the first time. As a BTS enjoyer myself, I approve Sunrise's Legacy.
So Sunrise is an animation studio that made a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, and the same one that did
they
Bebop
did some
BTS?
Outsourcing for Batman the Animated Series to Sunrise.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
To the point that it was so influential to them, they made their own mecha anime that was partially inspired by Batman the Animated Series.
The Big O.
The Big O.
Yeah. Melissa's asking me, have I watched The Acolyte? No,
no.
And I don't plan to. So yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Never.
I never wanted to see me shit on The Acolyte. But,
what happened to me watching
maybe
the Independence Day sequel will happen to you if you watch The Acolyte. Don't do it.
I'd have to get really drunk to watch it, and then maybe, but I don't.
I feel like even then it would give you AIDS if you watched it.
I'd just rather not. I'd rather freaking watch something I'm gonna at least have a chance of enjoying, or something I actually am gonna enjoy.
Or at least something that'll be funny, even if it's bad.
Yeah. Your sister considers AOTC to be the best Star Wars film just because she's infatuated with Hayden Christensen.
See what I mean?
George Lucas understands
women. George Lucas understands women.
Indeed. Since NOMZ helps you get together, you get to name your first plot.
No.
What? I'm good at naming things.
No.
Well, there. Do on you. I'm with you, Edmund. I'm with you. I agree. Wow, you two are all.
Right.
I wasn't.
I was born in '89.
Oh, you're not old. You're ancient.
I'm not ancient. First of all, I was born in the very last couple of weeks of '89. I'll have you know.
No, okay.
I'm technically a '90s kid. I only count as an '80s kid on a technicality of a couple weeks.
Yeah. There's a meme that went around. It was like, if you were born in '95, it's like you were born in the '90s, but we did not grant you the rank of '90s kid or something. Oh, happy early birthday for Cool Man.
Thank you.
We are pretty much caught up now, almost. NOMZ, do Colonel Chris Sanders meme it a favor, review Lilo and Stitch 2002 and How to Train Your Dragon 2010. Avoid the 2025 live action remakes.
I need live action remakes to die forever.
Well, after Snow White, like I heard my friend reckons live action remake's going to go to the way of the dodo.
It will not if Stitch and the How to Train Your Dragon remakes do good. If those do good, then studios will be like, oh, see, they are still profitable. It was just this fluke. And then we're just not going to remake these types of movies. We'll just remake the newer catalogs of the 90s and 2000 movies. Do not let those movies succeed, guys. Otherwise, they're going to, because they put Tangled on pause, that's going to get unpaused if those movies do good.
It's funny you bring up Tangled.
And DreamWorks is going to start doing all their other stuff if How to Train Your Dragon does good. Don't let them do it!
You bring up Tangled. I actually watched Tangled with Mrs. NOMZ just this past weekend, actually.
It's like a 2 days ago.
It's actually her favorite animated movie ever. She loves it.
Understandable. It's a really charming movie.
She reckons
mine is still Aladdin and Little Mermaid are still some of my favorites. And recently, I've come to really adore Treasure Planet.
I like Treasure Planet, but it's I gotta watch more OG. Oh, freaking Mulan should be at the top of your list. Are you kidding me? It's at the top of mine. Anyway.
No, Aladdin's at the top of my list. I've always adored Aladdin.
Aladdin.
I love Aladdin. I loved the cartoon. I loved the sequels.
That's what I said. That's what I think of Aladdin. Anyway.
Well, you're just
I'm
wrong.
kidding. I've been meaning to watch Aladdin again. I actually loved Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
I love that movie.
Love that.
Gimli
Welcome
is
to the
Aladdin's
40
dad.
Thieves.
Yeah, I loved it. I watched that on repeat when I wore that VHS out. Like crazy.
Yeah, Gimli is Aladdin's dad. That's John Rhys Davies.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
yeah.
But yeah, I wore that VHS out when I was a kid. I loved that movie.
I loved the show, the Aladdin show. I loved that so much. I watched the crap out of that as a kid.
Yeah.
I love Aladdin. It's just I love good adventures. Aladdin's a great protagonist. In a similar way, Mulan. I like how because of granted for different reasons. One of the reasons I love Mulan is like she's actually like really smart.
Yeah, that's what I love about
more smart than people give her credit for. Well, Aladdin's the same way. He's very, very quick on his feet and very smart on his feet. He's able to he analyzes like whatever situation he's in. He's able to quickly think of a way to get himself out of that situation.
Yeah, no, it's for real. But back to Tangled, just because my fiance wanted me to watch with her. She's like, you'll see why I want you to watch with me. And I'm like, all right, look, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Let's watch it together. And you know the part where they have the lanterns on the boat scene in Tangled?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. I love that
scene.
scene.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, I had no idea about this, but that's why she liked my proposal so much, because I actually proposed to her on a boat while the Sydney Harbour fireworks were going
off.
And I had no idea about that. And she was like really, and she had no idea I was on the boat. I surprised her on the boot.
So to her, she was just like, he is the one. He knows I love Tangled.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I'm just like, yeah. And when I proposed, she like started like breaking down and stuff. And that took me off guard. I was like, oh shit, she's crying. Have I fucked up? Did I do this wrong?
No, we women cry because we're happy.
Yeah, no, she was really happy. And yeah, it was, yeah. And I was like, oh, she showed it to me. I was like, well, that's a really, really lovely scene. That's really nice. And I was like, oh, that's why you like the proposal so much. Because I was kind of like, I'm kind of like OCD with it. I was like, really like, oh, maybe I could have done this better. Maybe I could have done that. But I still think about it. I was like, maybe I should have done this.
I also Princess and the Frog a lot too. It's another movie I really love.
Okay. I think I've heard about that one. But yeah,
it came out a year before Tangled. It was one of their two last animated 2D movies that they did. But they didn't do as well. But they were so stupid. They keep releasing a lot of these movies. They released The Princess and the Frog around the same time as the stupid Alvin the Chipmunk Squeakquel, as it was called, and Avatar.
Oh, okay. So that's why
they sent it to die.
It's like so they it made money, but it didn't do as good because of all that other one sucked up all the box office. And then they did a Winnie the Pooh movie in the summer, but it released around the same time as Harry Potter. It was like, why? It's like they wanted their animated movies to die, even though they kept being like, look, guys, we're doing 2D movies again. And then they use the excuse of, well, they didn't do as well. See, nobody likes 2D movies anymore. It's because you released them at bad times.
Yeah, no, it's just, no. You know what I would like to see them do? More back onto Grand Super Chat. Like, yes, I want the live action remakes to die. It doesn't mean I want Lilo and Stitch to be bad. But I think what they should really do is if they want to go the live action route, they should do reimaginings, not remakes. Like they should
do Muppets.
You know what I mean? Like, if for example,
unironically, if they want to do live action remakes, Disney you have the Muppets IP. You're not doing anything with the Muppets IP. Do these movies with the Muppets as a remake. Imagine Snow White remake. Mrs. Piggy would be the funniest evil queen ever.
Well, and also like, why not, if you're going to be doing live action remakes, why not do it of movies that didn't do as well? The Black Cauldron movie from the 80s, back during their dark years after Walt died, before they hit.
It's because it's not a sure success. That's why they're doing all their safe successes. And the thing is like,
I need to read the books, but I bought the books. They're the Chronicles of Prydain that the Black Cauldron is based on. I'm like, apparently it was a pretty well-known fantasy series back in the day. And it's like, you could actually just adapt these. It wouldn't be the Black Cauldron specifically, because it would have been based directly on the books. I'm like, then do something. It's like, but it's like, no, all they want to do is nostalgia bait.
Yeah, no, well, but I mean, like, if you want to do a live action version of it, there has to be a reason to go see it, other than there's real people in this one. because it's just going to compete tooth and nail with the animated one. The animated one's always going to come out on top. So instead of remaking an Apple,
but
you know
it's
what I
also
mean?
just this disrespect of the animation medium. They genuinely don't see animation as real movies, and it's as evidenced by like even the Oscars, like don't see animation as real movies.
That's going to die out eventually. That'll be overtaken because people who are growing up in the industry now are going to see it as real movies. It just takes time. It'll get there. But again, like, for example, I'm not saying I like this version of Snow White, like the Snow White and the Huntsman movie, Chris Hemsworth and Kristen Stewart, right? Obviously, not my type of movie, but I looked at that and I'm like, okay, well, at least they're not just.
Well, I mean, it wasn't Disney making that anyway. It's Snow White is a public domain thing. That's why I wish more movies went into public domain, but they also like people tried genuinely doing their own spin, because if certain takes will do well, they'll flourish, and other takes will do bad, and they won't. It's
right,
just like
at the very
there's so many different interpretations of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, right. There's a reason to go. Well, some might disagree, but like there's more. I think there's much more of a reason to go see Snow White and the Huntsman than just Disney Snow White, this time with a Latino chick.
Well, it's because of Chris Hemsworth for one, and Charlize Theron for the other.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
Eye candy for men, eye candy for women.
That's reason enough for me. But yeah, so I hope they take the reimaginings route instead of the remakes route. They had been.
They started doing the safe shot by shot remakes, and then they started doing reimaginings. Well, except for Maleficent, that was a reimagining, and it was garbage.
And when I say reimaginings, I don't mean fucking Wicked, just for the record. I was actually tempted to make a video about Wicked.
The other problem is they think they're gonna fix their old like animated movies. I'm like, you're not gonna fix these movies that were already good.
Yeah, no, you're gonna. You're gonna just.
Like what needed to be fixed about Mulan? What needed to be fixed about Beauty and the Beast? They were
didn't get her
perfect movies.
What wasn't good about Mulan was that she didn't have her strength from magic chi abilities that made her
Eddie Murphy, the funny talking dragon that literally everybody liked. Got to get rid of him.
Yeah, not too problematic. Red is too close to brown. So
well, it's more of I think in China, like dragons are more sacred over there. But like really the best you could do was like this phoenix interpretation that's not even accurate to Chinese mythology about the phoenixes. And it doesn't even like actually talk to her. So she doesn't actually bounce off of it. That was the other part of like it's so
stupid. Exactly. It is stupid. Grant, thanks again for the super chat, man. Oh, well, I think that was that one. Sorry, we're getting close to the.
Oh my gosh! What about the racism in Dumbo? It doesn't matter. It's an old movie. It's an old movie. It's okay. You can like recognize that things were made in a certain time period and not let that like. I can look at something and be like, that was obviously made in a different time period. I know better than they did back then, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
You judge things based on when they were made.
Yeah. We've got some picks for Disney animations. 101 Dalmatians, Treasure Planet, Mulan.
Oh, yeah, cool, man. What are some of your favorite Disney movies?
I always liked The Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, of course. Sherlock Holmes.
I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan.
It is good. We recently rewatched that, and I was just like, I forgot how much I really liked this movie as a kid.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, a lot of the Renaissance movies, I grew up with them, like Mulan and Hercules and Aladdin. Obviously, like, the early 2000s ones like Atlantis and Treasure Planet were genuinely underrated.
I love Atlantis and Treasure Planet. Oh my gosh, those movies were also criminally underrated.
Never saw Atlantis.
You need to. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah. The
a little bit of rip off. I'm kidding.
The art style was done by
the comic book creator of Hellboy.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, people have been telling me go see Atlantis. Like I will definitely do that.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of that similar inspirations of stuff like Indiana Jones
and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Cool.
Of like those older media. It's inspired by that, but like kind of like touched up with at the time, like, oh, what if we really had this modern interpretation of the early 1900s with advanced technology?
But like what they would what would an advanced like super high tech submarine look like to a person in the 1920s? So it's not at all like what an advanced submarine would look like to us. So that like they keep in mind the time period that is in, as if technology was allowed to advance, but still within their framework of their time period.
Okay. Oh, well. All right. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
It's really cool. I liked I'm not. There's no such thing as a perfect movie, but I genuinely think that movie is really underrated. It's really like it's a cult classic. It's great. It's enjoyable. It's great voice acting. A lot of the side characters are really fun, and it's insanely quotable.
Okay, well, I'll give it a look then. But screeching this to a halt, we all gotta pay our respects. Robin Williams forever.
Williams.
You know, rest in peace, legend. The world is lesser without Robin Williams. And you know what's
He's a big Zelda fan.
He is, yeah. He named his daughter after Zelda. What a legend. But also with Robin Williams, I watched the Christopher Reeve documentary some months ago, and Robin Williams was a prominent figure in that documentary. I don't think they had any primary interviews with him, but like they showed him and Christopher Reeve together a lot, and it's their thoughts. Like many people think that if Christopher Reeve hadn't, passed away so suddenly, Robin Williams there's a fairly, their words, not mine. They think that there's a good chance Robin Williams would still be with us. They reckon he severely kind of declined after Chris Reeves passed away, which is very sad.
Well, he also had a very specific disease. People misattribute it to depression, but there's actually, I forget what it was that he had, but it had the similar symptoms to depression, and that's why he ultimately ended up taking his life.
Yeah,
no, and it is very sad, but he's, man, what a legend, that guy. But I'm sure, like, he's in heaven because he seemed like a genuinely good person.
Yeah, no, he's he is sorely missed, that guy. McFrozen Nuggets. I think I'll probably wrap up the stream now, or in a bit. Just want to get to the end of the super chats just to make sure. Don't want to leave anyone out. How far are you on Hell's Kitchen, NOMZ? Also, Chipmaster accused me of wanting Daisy Ridley dead for calling her character Ray Palpatine. Ray Palpatine on X. Look, I don't mess with any of that stuff. But as far as Hell's Kitchen
Twitter's
goes,
not a real place. Ignore crazy things people say.
Yeah. But how far in Hell's Kitchen? I didn't really watch Hell's Kitchen, in order. I watched clips, and I watched Kitchen Nightmares, and I watched Hotel Hell. I'm a huge Gordon Ramsay nerd. I binge a lot of his stuff, but I don't watch Hell's Kitchen season by season.
I now want to see a Daredevil show, but like Gordon Ramsay's there.
Well, I want to see them do memes like the Breaking Bad.
Breaking Kitchen.
What would Daredevil?
Well, I mean, it's Hell's Kitchen.
It's Hell's Kitchen.
We need Gordon Ramsay there.
Yeah, can you imagine him talking about, protecting Hell's Kitchen, and then it's just like shows the outside of the
King
restaurant.
Pig's personal chef is Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Thank you, McFrozen. Nuggets. Appreciate the super chat. Gumball fan 123. Do you go to? This might be for all of us, but do you go to church? If you do, what do you think of favorite thing about church? I don't go to church regularly. I sometimes go for certain occasions like Christmas, Easter, obviously weddings. Favorite thing about going to church is I like to just, you have kind of that bubble of Zen, so to speak. It's peaceful. It kind of clears your head a bit. That's my favorite thing about going to church. You kind of, it mends the spirit. You always walk out of church, even though I don't go as often as I probably should. You always walk out of church feeling good spiritually, which that's probably my favorite. You guys have a take on that, or should we just move on?
I'll go last. I would have more to say.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but yeah, just.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, NOMZ is right. You know, going to church, it's a good place to get, you know, to feel refreshed, spiritually.
The
only thing I heard out of that is that NOMZ was right. Yeah.
You would.
I go to church regularly. There's been a time where I feel like I kind of taken it for granted. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but I've been going a lot more, especially recently, trying to get more involved. Ever since, funnily enough, Coolman and I became official, I felt very grateful because I felt like certain prayers were answered, like things in my life were starting to finally fall into place. So I just been wanting to be more, show more gratitude to God. And so I've been attending a lot more regularly, attending certain events a lot more regularly with the church, doing a lot more donations and things like that. But I've also been reading up a lot more history. I want to learn more about Jerusalem and a lot about the ancient Abrahamic religions. I want to learn about my own history. So I've been listening a lot more, learning a lot more about ancient Hebrew words, and to actually understand root words and ancient Greek words and things like that. So yeah, I've been getting really super churchy. I've been going down the biggest rabbit hole. Coolman knows my room is littered with books, and they're not just fictional books. A lot of them are history and religion history books.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah.
Well, there you go. She's a big church nerd. There you go.
I am becoming a big church nerd. God is gracious. Okay, hashtag Christ is King. Come on, chat.
Anyway, thank you for the super chat, Gumball 10. I wish I wasn't late to this. My sleep aid's going to KO me soon.
Hey, Ronan.
How you doing?
Seeing you here. He's actually like normally we see him in Coolman's channel.
Oh, there you go. About time you came over to the winning team.
Hey,
he's only here because of Coolman.
I don't know. but now. John McKinney, sorry I couldn't answer your super chat before, bud. I just didn't really have an answer. People forget, and thank you for this one. People forget Disney actually started live action remakes in the 90s. The Jungle Book in 1994 with Jason Scott lead, and 101 Dalmatians in 1996 with Glenn Close. That's true.
I feel like those are different, though. They were made from a different era and a different time. Like the Jungle Book one is actually more, if I remember correctly, I believe it was a pseudo sequel because Mowgli's older in that movie. And as for the 101 Dalmatians, it's not like it was made in the 90s, first off, and Home Alone guy also was making it. So it's a lot of slapstick in that one. But you could tell there's genuine love for the original movie in there. It wasn't a we need to fix it. It's more of we actually really liked the original. And we want to kind of do our own spin on it because the dogs don't talk in it. The humans actually have a lot more lines.
Yeah, and they did modernize it by setting it in the 90s, but it felt like legitimately we want to.
It felt sincere and an honest effort to try to capture like what it's not like we want to capture the magic or fix what was there. It's more of we want to capture what we loved about it and put our own spin on it. And Glenn Close, of course, is the best part about it. She absolutely hams it up about Cruella, which is funny because Cruella, while she is an entertaining villain, she's not nearly as hammy as Glenn Close was. She kind of almost acts like a 1960s Batman villain, like the Adam West show, but she's a delight to watch. She's genuinely entertaining, and you could tell she likes the character of Cruella de Vil. She actually would pay attention to the scenes, pay attention to the way the original actress would deliver certain lines, and she would try to do similar to her, but also her own spin on it when she could. She tried to match the dialogue as much as possible to the original Cruella. She even she can't smoke. Like smoking's really it hurts her. So she actually had an herbal thing of a fake cigarette to make because she wanted to be true to the character.
Okay. Well, I mean that's
and also Dr. House and Mr. Weasley are
Horace and Jasper.
Really? Hugh Laurie's in that?
Yeah, Hugh Laurie's in it.
I've actually just started watching House, and was it Mr. Weasley? Really?
Arthur
Weasley. Arthur Weasley. He's one of Cruella's henchmen. So you get to see Dr. House and Mr. Weasley as henchmen.
You know that Dr. House is also Mr. Little from Stuart Little, right? Because I told you I just recently watched those two things again. When I saw him because he's the nicest guy in the world when he's being Mr. Little, but then I watched House and I'm like, he's a real prick. but a lovable prick.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
House is basically loosely based on Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he's literally based.
Well, yeah, think about it.
Medical.
House, Holmes, and then his best friend Wilson, Watson.
Oh, okay.
But
Are you
it's
being bitter or being
basically
sarcastic? I'm trying to.
But
No,
but
this
it's
is
basically,
genuine.
at a
Yeah.
hospital
Oh, okay.
setting. He
Okay.
deduces like illnesses in a way similar to Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
He's got his own drug addiction.
Yeah, and he's got a drug addiction just like
Okay, all right, fair enough.
and he's kind of a prick, just like Sherlock.
But he's really smart.
It says that Brian, because I've been watching it a lot lately. It says like Bryan Singer was like executive producer on all those episodes. Like, is that the same Bryan Singer that did X-Men, or am I missing something?
I don't know. Let me look
I
this
could be
up.
wrong. I probably should look it up actually, but I'll get on with it. Thanks, John. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. Let's keep going. I did want to bring this one up. Dragon Talon, 2001 Dinosaur was the first Disney movie I saw in theaters. It's my absolute favorite. Good on you, mate. Legendokai, Emperor's New Groove is the funniest Disney movie, no contest. I remember seeing it a long time ago.
I quote that movie all the time. Me and my family did. That was one of the few movies we wore the tape out on. We would always watch it on road trips because our parents, they found a way to like hook up an old like VCR TV into until they started putting TVs in cars back in the day. But that was one of the movies we watched all the time was Emperor's New Groove. And we literally, we quoted the whole movie the whole time. Like we watched the movie, literally say verbatim, word for word, the entire movie while the movie was going on as kids. We loved it that much. We can quote it all the time. It is such a funny movie though. We all really loved it. The other one was Sorcerer's Stone and Ghostbusters. Those are some of the movies that we wore the tape out so much.
I think I saw Emperor's New Groove with my school class, I think, when I was a kid. Because I definitely remember having a great time watching it, but I don't think I've seen it since. So maybe I should give it another go. Titan AE is also, yes, I've seen that's really good. I was kind of like, what movie is this? How did this? But I loved it. I remember really.
Yeah, gotta watch more Don Bluth movies. Like, okay, yes, so he's had a couple of misses, but like the ones that are hits, they're genuinely awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Anastasia? Anomaly?
Oh yeah, when I was like 5 years old, I watched it.
Don Bluth.
Oh really? Okay. Me and my sister.
Land Before Time, the original Land Before Time, American Tail, Secret of Nim. That's Don Bluth. Oh, and All Dogs Go to Heaven.
All right, then I Don Bluth. Yep.
He used to work for Disney. There's a couple of like Disney movies that he did, and then he left Disney to make his own movies.
Yeah, good on him. I actually mistook Anastasia as being a Disney production, but like. It turns out like there's a good reason why I did, but like as people explained it to me, but I was like, oh, okay, well, it is kind of cool that he was able to like go off and do his own thing because like and he's great. I remember I loved Anastasia. I really want to watch it again. Actually, I might watch it again with.
I love it. I have
what's the face? The woman I'm signing my life away.
I made a recent purchase. I made a recent purchase. Hang on.
Oh yeah.
I bought a music box that plays Once Upon a December.
And that's the song in Anastasia?
Yeah, that's
Once Upon a December.
It's literally like the most famous song from the movie.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. That's really cool. Good find. John, thanks very much, mate, for the super chat. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to these. Fave Disney movie as a kid. Lion King, Toy Story, Aladdin, Tarzan. As an adult, Hunchback, Roger Rabbit, Night Before Christmas. Wait, Disney did Roger Rabbit? I don't think so.
I believe it's one of their.
Maybe they had a hand in making it.
No. I think it was one of their subsidiaries.
Oh, okay. Night Before Christmas.
I don't think it was Touchstone. Hang on.
I still have to. Okay. No, I think it was Touchstone actually. Yeah. Roger, because I watched Roger Rabbit like crazy too, and I remember Touchstone was being the.
Well, there also, I believe there was another production company that they have. They have quite a few subsidiaries. Okay. Basically, they would release certain movies under different labels depending on.
Oh yeah, Buena Vista Pictures.
Buena Vista. That was the other subsidiary.
Right. Yeah, no, I've heard of them. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, Night Before Christmas. I still have to watch Night Before Christmas. Every Christmas I watch The Grinch and Die Hard. and Jingle All the Way.
Well,
All
you could
classics.
also watch Nightmare Before Christmas on Halloween.
Oh, okay. Well, I might.
It's literally a both holiday movie for both because it's literally about both holidays.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. And Esmeralda.
I like the music from Nightmare Before Christmas, but the movie that I actually love way more is Corpse Bride of the Tim Burton stop motion movies. You and your girl got to watch that one. I think it's severely underrated.
I will give it a look. I've heard of that one.
It's genuinely a really beautiful movie, and it's something I don't see how romance is handled in certain movies. You'll get what I mean by the end of the movie.
Okay. And Esmeralda and Jessica Rabbit are the hottest Disney females.
Hey, cool man. Do you agree about Esmeralda?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, John, you're in good company then, I guess. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Getting a lot of Christ is Kings in the chat.
Yeah.
McFrozen Nuggets, my friend Matt Tuna said I'm sorely missing out. NOMZ, you should seriously chat with him on Discord about it. He's greeny cup there. What? I don't quite really know what you mean by that, but thanks for the super chat. I doubt I'll get around to that. I'm just not spending a lot of time in the Discord lately, and I don't really know what you're on about, to be honest.
Like I said, he's an engaged man. He's too good for all of us, guys.
Hugh Laurie is great. Hugh Laurie is phenomenal. I fucking love that guy.
Hugh Laurie should have been the next Doctor. He would have been an amazing Doctor.
I'm also mad he never got to play a proper Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, he would have been great as Sherlock Holmes. He would have been insanely good. Henry Cavill should also be a real Sherlock Holmes. Screw that stupid Nolan Netflix show.
He should be. I think Cavill should be Bond. Honestly, maybe
he absolutely should be Bond. But he should be everything. He should be James Bond. He should be Sherlock Holmes. He should be King Arthur.
The amount of times I like to cast him, you figured he would be Bond by now. It's strange. Anyway, John McKinney again. Jungle Book. I'm pretty sure it means Jungle Book. 1994 actually felt more like a live-action remake of Disney's Tarzan.
I hope they never remake Disney's Tarzan.
Mowgli was Tarzan.
That's another one I forgot. I adore Tarzan. I love Tarzan, the Disney Tarzan, and I loved the show too. Forgot to put that in my list.
I can't pronounce that. Mowgli was Tarzan. Mowgli was Tarzan. Kitty was Jane. Boom was Clayton. Mowgli, eaten by a tiger, equals Tarzan's parents. Eaten by a leopard. Leopard, excuse me. I have a field day with that one, guys. Thank you, John. Connor, how you doing? Sorry for not coming until was presumably near the end of the stream. Happy 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. May the 4th be with you. Likewise.
And you can watch the stream. Anomaly's going to leave it up for a little bit longer.
For a bit. We'll see how we go. Because, I do like the fact that we did a celebration stream. And, maybe I'll keep this one up. We'll see. Apparently Brian Singer did produce a lot of House, the same one. It actually does make sense because a lot of the animations for the medical stuff look like some of the animations in the X-Men movie when he's explaining mutation. I was like, yeah, I can definitely see Brian Singer's on this, but House also hates the prequels. So I was like, yeah, Brian Singer's a huge, boomer. So,
there's far worse things to say about Brian Singer.
I've heard, yeah. I don't imagine he'd be as smug now, but I mean, he did a good job on House. I enjoy House quite a bit. So
he did great on some of the X-Men movies. Doesn't change the fact that he's
a predator.
A predator.
Yeah. Well, less said about that. I remember Anastasia. My memories on that. Mine too. I really want to watch it again.
Yeah, rewatch it again. It's a good movie. Anastasia, the way most people when they try to write the strong female protagonist, the one that's she's got a little bit feisty side to her, they want to write them like Anya, but they'll never be able to capture that type of feistiness because they're never as likable as characters like her or characters like Jasmine. It's like they don't know how to write these characters when they try to make these girl bosses. So I'm just like, you forgot the part where the characters, they can be feisty, they can be snarky, but they have to actually be likable.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, James Cameron, who's like the king of writing good female protagonists, said like, you know, he likes the challenge of writing female protagonists because they're harder to write, but he says the way to do it is not to just make them guys with tits. Like his words,
they
not
have
mine.
to be human. Like women are human.
He was saying that when he was...
They also are allowed to be wrong sometimes, and they're also allowed to be vulnerable sometimes.
Absolutely.
They also can scold men, but then the men also need to have, like, you know, a point back at them. But then they can have a moment where they're vulnerable, and then the guy can be allowed to comfort them. It's okay. It's human.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way Angel treats me and Cool Man. And yeah,
first of all, I treat Cool Man nice. I just insult you.
Sure. You treat him
You're
nice
on your own on that one.
No. You treat him nice when I'm around, but in when it's just you two.
I treat him nice when he's with me. We cuddle.
Okay, so why am I discriminated against?
Hey, first of all, I called him an idiot, and I also, in that same breath, said, "But I'm an idiot too." To be fair to him. See what I mean? Men and women, we're both humans. Just write people like real people.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, happy 20th anniversary, May the 4th. Indeed. Thank you, my friend. Cavill's doing a 40K show. That's right, he is. I'm interested to see how that goes. Oh, I see. Sorry, that super chat from before with that I was missing. It's about Hell's Kitchen. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anyone else see Revenge of the Sith in theater? Yeah, pretty much. I'd like to think pretty much everyone that's here went to see it in theater. That's what stream's about.
We all did our part. I'm doing my part.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, my ticket's already bought. I'm doing my part. Yeah.
I sent that text to Anomaly, and you were just like,
you did,
look at how much money it's made. And then I responded to you with that gif. I'm doing my part.
Yeah, guys. But yeah, look. All right, I probably should wrap the stream up. So it's 3 hours and 30 minutes. This is an hour, at least an hour longer than I intended to go. But I've just been having so much fun with you guys. I would go again if it was still playing. Hey, you and me both, man. You and me both. I would go this time. I would actually bring my lightsaber and maybe a little bit of a costume and, you know, just nerd out. I was too sensible when I went to the screening. I was like, because I was with my other friends and I was like, we're going to be getting drunk after this. So let's just, let's just keep it,
I was a lot more toned down when I saw Revenge of the Sith. I only wear a Star Wars shirt. When we went and saw the re-release of Transformers 1, I had a Transformers shirt and a Transformers hat. I was like decked out Transformers gear and a little Transformers keychain. And whenever the girl went to scan like my email, like of the QR code, she's like, "So what movie you see?" Then she looked up and looked at me, and then she's like, "Stupid question. Enjoy Transformers 1."
Yeah. I actually wore my Goku shirt that my fiance got me. I wore that it's this really nice bluish kind of shirt, and it's got all the forms of Goku on it. And
nice.
And
Cool Man was wearing my Lord of the Rings shirt today.
Yeah.
Potatoes, spoil and mash
stew. Yeah, no, but like I didn't have a good Star Wars shirt to like wear the premiere. I have Star Wars shirts that I wear kind of like around the house, but none that I'd wear out to a premiere. Whereas this shirt is like a really good quality shirt. So I was like, why did you choose the Goku shirt? It's like, well, I didn't have a good Star Wars shirt to wear, so I figured I'd wear this, and people know what I'm about.
I was so excited about the Revenge of the Sith re-release that I went to like an online like Etsy shop, and I found a Star Wars shirt that they made because I didn't want to buy anything official. Screw Disney, they don't get my money. Revenge of the Sith will get my money. I draw the line. But I found this really cute print that had like the Star Wars arcade, like the old arcade. So I got that because I was just like, I remember like actually going to the arcades, especially like at a lot of like pizza places when I was a kid. So like, and I actually did play the old Star Wars arcade. So I was like, I'll get that shirt. So I wore that shirt.
I was where did it go? I was there was a chat that I wanted to where did it go? Oh yeah. Grant saying, has anyone ever seen Highlander 1986? Clancy Brown fucking nailed it. Cool,
Clancy
man?
Brown.
Yeah, I'm fighting for it. Clancy Brown. Oh. No, I haven't seen it, but good to know. I'll keep an eye out for it. Tippy, glad you're part of the stream. Watch streams happen more often, but it is what it is. I enjoy it. I will try. I will try. Life's a bit hectic at the moment. I'd like to get back into doing it semi-regularly. Connor, I went to the theater, saw Revenge of the Sith. I saw it, full house, audience of all ages, respectful silence, save for the occasional kid murmur, because kids will be kids, and a standing ovation at the end. Hashtag OG fucking Lucas.
We got the standing ovation right at the start when Hayden Christensen showed up.
Oh, yeah. No, Hayden.
As soon as he showed up, I shouted out loudly, "We love you, Hayden!" And then the whole crowd was just like, "Woo, Hayden!" And I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm so glad that Hayden's getting the love he deserves finally.
Yeah, no. When I saw that, I was like, he got a reaction out of mine. It was a little more subdued, but I was like, "Hey, Hayden!" And yeah, no, it was really cool, nice surprise. Man, I would have killed to be in that theater where him and Sam Jackson showed up holding lightsabers. Cool. Fucking hell.
Have you seen that picture where he reunited with the little kid, Master Skywalker?
Yeah. You told me. You saw
together.
Yeah, you told me. It's like, you said you saw. I remember you telling me the story. It's like, you saw. Finally reunited. It was the caption. It's like, Hayden Christensen and this actor. Who was he in Star Wars? And you looked up and you're like,
he's the little kid that he murdered.
That guy.
There's a funny similar story with Jaws, actually. And Jaws, you know, that little kid that gets eaten by the shark. Well, he eventually he retired from acting, I believe, and he opened a restaurant, or I guess he worked at some restaurant. But the mother who plays his mother in Jaws, she goes and she sees in the menu, because he named one of the dishes after his character. The dish, you can eat the kid too, because that's the character he played. But she saw that on the menu, and then she turned to the waiter and she said, "I played his mother," that character, when she saw the name on the menu. And then the waiter's just "Hold on, let me go to the back." And then he runs to the back and he grabs him, and he's just "You're not gonna believe who's here." He's just "Huh?" And he's "Your mom." He's "My mom." He's "The lady who played your mom in Jaws." And he's "Oh my gosh!" And he comes running out. And they hadn't seen each other in decades. They were reunited.
Wow.
And came to his restaurant.
Oh wow, that's incredible. You love to hear it. You love to hear stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember beating the OT arcade one time. One of my favorite games. OT arcade? Is that?
Yeah, I was talking about the arcade.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The original, old arcade. Good stuff. Good times.
I apologize, guys. I actually do need to go to bed immediately to go.
No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll wrap this up in a second. Behind my way, 2 seconds. But remember this. I am Maul, and this is Savage. Hello, I like money.
Charlie has one super chat.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Yes, I am finally caught up. I apologize. But yeah, Charlie, Aussie man, my tooth is killing me, and send help. I'm sorry, man, but yeah, if it's killing you, get that shit looked at immediately. Teeth aren't anything to fuck with.
Take care of yourself, Charlie.
All right, guys. Well,
Spend
look, guys.
money on your teeth.
Cool Man being the nuded specimen that he is, now being with Angel here, he has to go to bed. So
he works super early.
I know.
I've been working super early ever since you met me.
No, I'm just shit stirring. All right, guys. But yeah, look. Thank you all so much for coming out for a great stream. Had a blast with all of you. Fuck yeah! It's Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. It made bank, broke fucking records, as we all knew it would. Hell, more than we even expected it would.
Online because of their narrative is dead.
Let them cope. Let them seethe. Laugh in their face. Fuck them all. That's all I have to say on that.
Coping and seething.
Yep. Hashtag OG Lucas. Love you all, and we'll see you next time. All right, and congratulations to Cool Man and Angel for finally shacking up.
Idiots to lovers. Idiots to lovers, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. All right, guys. Peace out. Take care, and bye for now.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.